Classified documents.
In sports, Jamaica Scorpions face uphill task against Windward Volcanoes at Sabina Park.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, will join us to look back at nomination day activities for the February 26 local government elections.
Also in the cover story, according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools, more than 80% of Jamaicans are concerned about the cost of living crisis affecting the country. General Secretary of the JLP, Dr. Horace Chang, and representatives from the PNP will join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we'll ask, which party won the optics battle on nomination day? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
As with Dennis Brooks, Garth Williams, Marlon Campbell, and Floyd Green.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, NationwideRadioJM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store this Thursday afternoon, Thursday, February 8, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The Nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
More than 80% of Jamaicans say they are concerned about the cost of living in the country. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. The poll sampled 1,878 registered voters across all 63 constituencies. Nora Gay Banton has our story.
Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate currently stands at 6.9%. It's coming from a high of nearly 12% in the period immediately following the COVID-19 pandemic. Inflation battered Jamaicans. Despite evidence that the Bank of Jamaica's strategy of raising interest rates to tame inflation is working, the cost of living is still front and center on the minds of Jamaicans. When the pollsters asked voters how concerned they were about the current cost of living in the country, 61% said they were extremely concerned, rating their level of concern at a 10. 8% of voters rate their level of concern at a 9, and 10% of voters rate their concern at a 4. That's a combined total of 83% of Jamaicans indicating they were concerned about the cost of living in Jamaica. This is down 4 percentage points from the 87% of Jamaicans who registered concern in February last year. 12% of respondents say they're neutral on the question. That's up from 8% last year. There's also been a 1 percentage point drop in the number of Jamaicans saying they have little or no concern about the cost of living, falling from 8% last year to 4% in the most recent poll. At the same time, 80% of voters say they're concerned about their personal financial situation in the country's current economic climate. That's down 5 percentage points from the 85% who expressed concern last year. When it comes to their standard of living, most Jamaicans say it's average at 43%. That number has fallen from the 49% who felt that way in February last year. If there's any good news in these numbers for the government, it's that there's been a 6 percentage point increase in the number of Jamaicans who believe their standard of living is high. That number moved from 33% last year to 39% in the current poll. Those who say their standard of living is low fell by 2 percentage points from 20% in February last year to 18%. The nationwide Blue Dot polls was conducted between January 19 and February 6. It would appear the party that can reassure Jamaicans about their financial future is the one most likely to find favor on February 26. Who will that be? Which party will be able to reassure them? Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
The Nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he's looking forward to the remainder of the election campaign now that the nomination of candidates is complete. The Prime Minister was speaking with journalists in his West Central St. Andrew constituency on Thursday. Wayne Walker reports.
In West Central St. Andrew, the Prime Minister loomed large over proceedings as the JLP nominated Delroy Williams in Seavert Gardens, Christopher Townsend in Olympic Gardens, and Glendon Salmon in Malines Gardens. Mr. Holness says only those who are power-hungry would want to make the local elections into a referendum on his administration's performance in central government.
There are those who want to turn a local government election into a general election. It shows a kind of power hungriness. But it is our democracy. I love to be out and about and meeting people outside of a campaign who are really constrained, tied down sometimes to your desks. But with a campaign on, it gives the perfect opportunity to explain to people, to bring points to people, to deal with grievances and grouses, and to dispel rumors and conspiracies that have been created for false. So I look forward to the campaign.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness says it may take some time for Jamaicans to feel the impact of the country's growing economy. He was reacting to the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools, which show that a significant number of Jamaicans believe the country is moving in the wrong direction.
Some of the poll results, and every businessman I meet, they say, we don't have enough labor, we can't find labor. The unemployment rate is the lowest that's ever been in the history. We haven't changed how we measure unemployment. It's the same system of measurement. But yet, people are saying unemployment is high. So it will take some time. It's a long time. It will take some time for people to realize that the economy is changing before their very eyes. Jamaica 2.0 is being revealed on a daily basis.
Wayne Walker, Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader Mark Golding says he's confident of victory come election day. After watching the nomination of the candidates in the two divisions of his South St. Andrew constituency, Mark Golding headed east to St. Thomas. Shaloy Schmeichel tells us more.
The victory wave will travel from east to west. That's the message Mark Golding gave to a large crowd of supporters in 11 Miles Bull Bay on one of his stops as he saddled to the east.
Today is a great day for the People's National Party because all over the island we have had a great nomination day. The show of support, the energy and enthusiasm are real, and I think that this is a great way to start what will be a short but intense campaign, and it starts right now here in St. Thomas. And as Comrade Philip has said, the victory is going to come from the east, and I know especially for those from West St. Thomas, a long time you wait for a nice time. Right, we're having a nice time. Well, no, come for the nice time in our West St. Thomas, and we're going to do it this year.
The PNP president then stopped in Yala, St. Thomas to greet the mayor of Morant Bay, Hubert Williams. Williams' message to the governing JLP, time come.
But the labor right now never understand what me tell them. Me tell them that time come.
Also on the tour with Mr. Golding was Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Polwell. Mr. Polwell promised his comrade leader that the East will ripen and turn orange after the local elections and the next general election.
Today is important. It is really the start of the campaign. And party leader, we have pledged that this victory will start in the east this time and go to the west. Starting in St. Thomas and go to the west.
Shaloy Schmeichel for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, during a brief moment of prayer, a PNP supporter likened the party's president to Moses, leading the children of Israel across the Red Sea. She compared the JLP to the Egyptians, who would be swallowed up by the crushing waters.
God has done your sins to us. The Egyptian that we saw today, we will see them no more. So mighty God have done it at this moment. Let the Egyptian them follow us until we reach the Red Sea. That you're gonna part there is Jesus. Yes. And allow us to go through. And when they reach in the middle, you bend down all of them.
Mr. Polwell was quick to declare that he didn't want to see any drowning on the JLP side.
I want to say about that prayer I really hope all the Egyptians can spend. Yes! No turning around here.
Philip Paulwell, Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal.
Massive crowds of supporters of the two main political parties followed their respective representatives to be nominated as candidates for the local government elections in North East St. Anne. 8 candidates, 4 from the JLP and 4 from the PNP, were nominated in the 4 divisions. Dana Davey has that story.
The JLP massive was led by Matthew Samuda, the recently installed constituency caretaker in North East St. Anne. He was joined by Senator Abka Fitz-Henley. The PNP team was led by Dr. Ryan Simpson, constituency caretaker for North East St. Anne. The JLP supporters were the first to arrive, ramming the streets as they marched to the nomination centre in St. Anne's Bay. The 4 JLP candidates nominated on Thursday are all seeking re-election, having won at the most recent local polls in 2016. They are Michael Belnavis in Ocho Rios, Ian Isaacs in Exchange, Dallas Dickinson in St. Anne's Bay, and Jennifer Gordon-Bailey in Lime Hall. Following the nomination and the departure of the JLP candidates, it was the PNP's turn to flood the streets with their supporters. The PNP nominated Nicola Hamilton in the Ocho Rios division, Trevor Jerry Greer in the Exchange division, Nathaniel Mickey Lawrence in the St. Anne's Bay division, and Desmond Gilmore in the Lime Hall division. Senator Samuda told Nationwide News that he was confident of victory in all 4 divisions.
Northeast St. Anne is energized and mobilized to deliver a 4-0 victory for the party and to help pack the PNP along its way.
His rival, Dr. Ryan Simpson, says the PNP will be the ones celebrating on election night.
I feel very confident. I'm excited. I think we have a very strong group of candidates ready and an excited electorate anxious for the day to come to replace the Jamaica Labour Party in North East St. Anne. Not across Jamaica, but I'm speaking for North East St. Anne.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
A heavy downpour of morning showers was not enough to dampen spirits on nomination day in Western Hanover. The 4 men from the PNP were the first to be nominated: Sheridan Samuels in the Caldwell Division, Brian Chambers in the Riverside Division, Darren Barnes in the Lucy Division, and Marvel Sewell in the Green Island Division. The JLP nominated Easton Edwards in the Lucy Division, Colville Allen in the Riverside Hay in the Caldwell Division, and Demar Mackenzie in the Green Island Division.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide 90 FM. Much more after this break.
It's my baby's first birthday and I'm having a big party. I've got 1,000 things to do and I have a headache. I took my dependable Advil liquid gels as always. They're strong, fast, and work well for me.
The time by Advil liquid gel is
5:15.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building time. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica, so vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. Them build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play fun with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Get connected to a deal you'll love this Valentine's with Flow. Sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the extra special price of only $3,999 plus GCT and get a free Samsung phone. Make a love connection and show how much you care. Visit discoverflow.co or Flow Store today. Conditions apply.
Continuing the news, the former Member of Parliament for South Trelawney, Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert, was seen on the campaign trail for the JLP on Thursday. She resigned as Speaker of the House and as an MP last September following a report from the Integrity Commission which recommended that charges be laid against her for making false declarations about her ownership of a motor vehicle. Mahira Stewart has our story.
Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert was out and about in Albert Town, Trelawney, dressed in her party's colours as she drove in a JLP motorcade through the town on nomination day. This was the first time the former South Trelawney MP was seen on the political hustings since her resignation as MP and Speaker of the House last September. That decision followed a report from the Integrity Commission which recommended that 8 charges be laid against her for making false declarations about her ownership of a Mercedes-Benz motor car. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert told our news centre that despite her resignation, she still remains a fervent supporter of the Holness administration.
I resigned from the Member of Parliament post and from the post as Speaker of the House because the Integrity Commission has recommended criminal charges. I'm an attorney. My reputation is important, and therefore I found that the proper thing to do was to resign from the public office. But I never resigned from the Andrew Holness-led government.
Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert says she could never sit and watch the campaign in Trelawney just go by.
I would lend my support in any arena that I can for the Jamaica Labour Party. And where I have, in fact, won and increased my margin for 4 consecutive elections for people in South Trelawney who have been consistently loyal to myself as a representative of the Jamaica Labour Party, where better to throw my support than right here.
Having rubbed shoulders with Labourites today, the former House Speaker says the JLP are looking like a good bet to win the national race in the February 26 election.
Everybody is just enthused and excited about voting in the 4 councillors representing the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm very confident. I have no doubt at all that they're going to come in.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
And no major traffic incident was reported during Thursday's nomination day activities. That's according to head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner Gary Mackenzie.
The nomination of political representatives for the local government election that commenced earlier today, from all reports, there have not been any major incidents or any incidents at all with respect to those nominations. We have been monitoring the thoroughfares. Unfortunately, there are some persons who are still committing the offences of body protruding. The police have had to stop a number of vehicles and get persons to conform with the law. However, apart from that, things appear to be going smoothly.
ACP Gary Mackenzie, head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch.
In other news now, murder accused and the former West St. Mary Member of Parliament, Julian Silvera, will spend 62 more days behind bars before his attorneys can apply for bail. Silvera made his second appearance before the gun court in downtown Kingston on Thursday. The former PNP MP is charged with the murder of his wife, Melissa. He's also charged with using a firearm to commit a felony. Robian Williams was at court.
Gun court matters are held in camera, which means the media is not allowed inside the courtroom. But reporters sat in close proximity to the entrance of the courtroom where a policeman stood guard. At 2:33 p.m., Silvera arrived in handcuffs with his head bowed. He was surrounded by police personnel. He wore a black jacket suit and black shoes. His hair was still unkempt, similar to his first court appearance on January 25. Silvera spent close to 40 minutes inside the courtroom. He's represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and Patrice Riley. Casey Champagny spoke briefly with our news team after the proceedings.
I think it's important for persons to recognize that based on the offenses for which Mr. Silvera is charged, they would fall within the band where there is an in-camera hearing, and we have to abide by that ruling. We have to comply with the law. So all that I can say at this point in time, Ms. Riley and I, all that we can say is that the matter is fixed for bail application on the 11th of April. On that date, the court will hear submissions from us as to why it is that Mr. Silvera is a good and fit candidate for bail, and I would imagine that the prosecution will make a contribution to that in terms of their own position.
KC Champagne says the decision of opening the matter to the media rests solely with presiding judge Justice Vinette Graham Allen.
Discretions are exercised, and the judge was well within her rights to determine how to treat this matter. As I said before, based on the offense. It's not just the offense of murder, but it's committing the offense by using, they're saying, an illegal firearm, in an illegal way rather. Going forward, it's really a matter for the judge. It's not a matter for us as to whether or not there is going to be a situation where the media is allowed in.
He says his client maintains his innocence.
The facts of the case are yet to be determined. I have firm instructions, and my client is indicating that he's innocent. All of that will be ventilated in court. There is obviously grave concern. He's anxious to be vindicated. He's anxious to have his day in court, and he is very, very much concerned, very apprehensive, as anyone would in that particular position.
Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says only 5 of the more than 3 million Americans who visited the island last year lost their lives via homicide.
Jamaica, essentially, with our visitors, is a really safe place. We have a large diaspora in New York, and we don't want them scared about coming home either. But we had 3 million Americans visit Jamaica last year. We had 5 homicides in that 3 million visitors, of which the police have cleared up 3 of them so far. None of them occurred within our tourist areas, and all of them are both Jamaican and U.S. citizens.
The commissioner was speaking on Thursday morning at his headquarters on Old Hope Road in St. Andrew. He made the comment in reaction to an advisory from the U.S. State Department warning Americans about high levels of violent crime and substandard health services in Jamaica. Speaking on a video call with a group of U.S.-based reporters from outlets such as NBC News, Commissioner Anderson told them the timing of the advisory was surprising.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Commissioner of the New York Police Department, NYPD, Tarek Shepard, says he's impressed by the Jamaica Constabulary Force's track record of protecting tourists. Mr. Shepard sat alongside Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson on Thursday as they fielded questions from a group of U.S.-based journalists via video link.
Just because you have a homicide that happens up in East New York doesn't mean you don't go visit Times Square. And that's basically what's happening here. Tourists are very safe. I was impressed talking to the commissioner about last year it being the safest year they've had in 22 years in major crime here. And so that's just a tremendous accomplishment. And for people to be misled by this sort of alert that came out, the safest year in 22 years is a major accomplishment for any law enforcement agency. And so just very impressed with the police down there.
Tarek Shepard, Deputy Commissioner of the NYPD.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, equipping Jamaica for success. Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. In Guyana, Attorney General Anil Nandlal says partisan politics is the reason for the ongoing strike by teachers represented by the Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU. The Guyana Chronicle says the industrial action is being led by GTU General Secretary Coretta MacDonald, who's also an opposition member of Parliament. Nandlal, who's also the Legal Affairs Minister, says MacDonald's motives are clear given her political persuasion. He blasted her for introducing the issue of race as an undertone to the agitation by teachers for a significant increase in their salaries. Nandlal says the GTU and the government have been in intense discussions to end the strike, which has disrupted several schools across Guyana at a time when students are preparing to sit external exams.
Further afield, a report by the U.S. Justice Department says Joe Biden's handling of classified documents containing information about the U.S. war in Afghanistan and other national security matters was a breach. But the special counsel leading the probe says the president will not face criminal charges. The documents included A handwritten memo by then Vice President Biden to President Barack Obama in 2009 opposing a planned troop surge in Afghanistan. The release of the report is likely to play into America's bitterly contested 2024 election, with Republicans poised to jump on any criticism of Biden. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is also being investigated for improperly holding on to classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories in the extended edition of Nationwide News at this hour, over 80% of Jamaicans say they are concerned about the high cost of living in the country. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says only the power-hungry believe the upcoming local government elections are a referendum on the way the country is being governed.
It shows a kind of power hungriness, but it is our democracy.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says the JLP's time in charge of local government is almost up.
I think that this is a great way to start what will be a short but intense campaign. And it starts right now. The victory is going to come from the east.
Murder-accused Julian Silvera will spend 62 more days behind bars before the judge will consider whether he should be granted bail.
My name is George Davis.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store. News Next, headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates. First-time registration land surveys also included, affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Faced with a first innings deficit of 182, the Jamaica Scorpions reached 72 for 4 at sports time near the close on day number 2 of their West Indies Championship game against the Windward Islands Volcanoes at Sabina Park. Captain Jermaine Blackwood is amongst the batsmen dismissed, and Kruma Bonner is not out 32 as the Scorpions need another 110 runs to make the Volcanoes bat again. Earlier, the Volcanoes, who resumed on 157 for 2, went on to make 341 all out for a lead of 182, as I mentioned. Johan Jeremiah, who was 66 overnight, went on to eventually be dismissed for 80. Sonny Lambris weighed in with 45, but it was a 7th wicket stand between Ryan John, 57, and Shamar Springer, 71, which took the game further away from the Scorpions. Gordon Bryant ended with 4 for 64. Pete Summon, 3 for 78, and Marquino Minley, 2 for 60. Over at Chedwin Park, Kevin Wickham slammed the second century of the new season as the Barbados Pride took control of their game against the combined campuses and colleges team. Wickham knocked out 8 fours and 9 sixes in a magical 139 as the Pride declared their first innings on 344 for 8. Jonathan Drakes also batted well for 89, Shane Dowich 41, and Zachary McCaskey 30 against 2-wicket performances from Jedi Blades, Zishan Motora, and Romario Greaves. The CCT team were 9 for 1 in reply at sports time. There was no play on the schedule the second day in the 2 games in St. Kitts and Nevis because of rain. At Warner Park, the West Indies Academy was scheduled to resume on 60 for 2 in response to the Leeward Islands Hurricanes 137 all out, while over at Connery, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force was scheduled to continue from the overnight 2-15 for 4. This against the champions Guyana Harpy Eagles, with Jason Mohammed not out 100 exactly. The West Indies are touring Australia for a multi-format series. The test series ended in a draw. The Australians swept the one-day series. Tomorrow morning at 3 o'clock, they meet again, this time though in the one-day internationals. And Reds Pereira, well, the game is going to be played in Hobart. And the commentator regionally, Reds Pereira, says the series offers a great opportunity for both sides to prepare for the upcoming global tournament.
Sammy in the press conference was extremely confident that in this T20 squad, a fresh squad, he's got some world-class players with a lot of experience. My question is, we had an example of the team bonding and the preparation for the test team who did extremely well and surprised the world. What's the preparation of the T20 squad? And maybe the same thing can be asked about the ODI squad. Preparation brings bonding, brings team spirit, then brings cohesion, brings confidence, brings belief. I think we'll be able to judge whether any of that was relevant, that was evident when they play against Australia in the first T10.
Joseph Reds Pereira. Australia pulled off a thrilling one-wicket win over Pakistan in Benoni this morning to book a spot in the ICC Under-19 World Cup final, and this will be against India. Tom Straker, 6 for 24, wrecked Pakistan's top order as they were dismissed for 179 with 7 balls to spare. Azan Away and Arafat Mihanas both hit 52. In response, the Australian top order was engaged in a few clumsy dismissals and allowed Pakistan back into the game before Harry Dixon 50 and Oliver Piquet held it together. They got home at 181 for 9 in the final to set up a mouth-watering showdown against the Indians. And this will be on Sunday. Finally, in sports at this time, Jamaica's national senior women's football team will face South American big guns Chile in 2 international friendlies in Santiago later this month. The teams will meet in the first game on February 23 with the second game 4 days later. The Reggae Girls are due to arrive in Chile February 21 for the 2 games. The squad is made up largely of the players who participated in the failed attempt at qualifying for the CONCACAF Gold Cup in the U.S. later this year. 22 players have been called up for the games, including Marlo Sweatman, Destiny Powell, Chanel Buckley, Malachi Days, Chenelu Asher and Jade Bailey. Xavier Gilbert will again be in charge of the team along with his coaching staff from the last assignment.
We'll be looking at how we build from the last couple of camps with these players. And of course, some will necessarily get the exposure being on the international scene. And we just want to give a good account of ourselves and ensure that we represent Jamaica well.
Xavier Gilbert, national senior women's football team coach. Chile are 9 times qualifiers for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Their last appearance, 2014. Jamaica played at the last 2 World Cup, back-to-back, of course, and famously made it to the round of 16 at the last tournament in Australia and New Zealand. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:34.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The temperature by the Office of the Prime Minister is
28 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 25 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express. Suzuki, I give you deals on deals. So here's the deal. Purchase a 2024 Suzuki Vitara, Grand Vitara, XL7 or the all-new Bronx from as low as $4.79 million. Just $53,500 monthly. Enjoy 5 years warranty, free vehicle tracking and servicing, plus more. Offer valid at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Kempton, Kingston, and Iron Shore Bay. Start by your test drive events on February 10 and 24. Follow Suzuki Jamaica for more details. Conditions apply.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building high. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica. So vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. They build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play fun with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
5:38 on this Thursday afternoon, Thursday, February 8, 2024. This is the Nationwide Cover Story. My name is George Davis.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
How are you, sir?
Doing quite well.
You're doing. I heard you was complaining about the hectic nature of the road and you wanting to hit the gym so that you're fit for election day.
Definitely a must.
There you go. It's a lesson for you. I'm happy you were out there in the crucible today and experienced it. We're going to get a lot more from you based on your experience. But today, nomination day has come and gone. Closed activities did at about 2 p.m. this afternoon. Persons wishing to run for office in the local polls had that opportunity to nominate themselves as candidates. They were vying for seats across 228 electoral divisions, as well as Portmore, the Portmore municipality, the JLP and PNP, both nominating a full slate of candidates. The last local government elections, of course, were held in 2016. Joining us now to review the day, the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you both.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, Sir Brown. So, just at the top of the hour, what is the situation now? Did everything go successfully? How did things start off?
I think we have a very good day. Everything went quite smoothly. At the end of the day, at the end of the close of the nominations, closed at 2 p.m. this afternoon, roughly 499 candidates were nominated to contest the local government election, which is scheduled for February 26th.
And of the 498, how many are independents?
37.
37?
Yeah. Including the candidate, an independent candidate for the mayoral election in Portmore.
Oh, so that would mean 37 independents, and that would mean third parties would have nominated another 7.
No, third party would have nominated
4. 4. So let me get the math right. Both parties nominate 228, so that will be 456. Then they'll put up one each in Portmore.
Right.
And then, I see what you mean.
One
right.
independent and 4 UIC.
Yes. Insofar as the reports from the nomination centers right across the length and breadth of the island, we have to ask if everywhere opened on time and if there was any challenge with any of the nomination documents being processed for any of the individuals.
All nomination centers were open on time. There was no challenge as such, because what we did, we had across the island, all in our constituencies, we met with all the prospective candidates sometime last week into early this week and went through, did a preliminary check of the nomination form. So that helped the process, and it went fairly smoothly.
And based on the report from your returning officers, what have they told you so far preliminarily about what they experienced today?
In the main, I think the report that I've got so far, that everything, they are indicating that everything went well. They don't challenge as such. There were any dispute or any serious issue that they had to deal with.
Right. And of course, this is all a precursor to the big event on February 26. In terms of where your own processes are now, one important event is ticked off Nomination Day. How are you heading into February 26?
We now start our second phase, our final phase of the preparation. Now that nomination is out of the way, we now start ramping up in terms of printing our ballots, doing our final voters list, etc. And before the 26th, though, we'll be preparing for the special day voting, which will take place on the 22nd of February. The special voting day is the day when the members of the JCF and the JDF and all our election day workers will cast their ballot. That will be held on Thursday, the 22nd of February.
I've always wanted to ask, Director, I note that the voter turnout for the police and the military is very, very low, but that of the election day workers is relatively very high. In fact, it is, as a single constituent group, the election day workers have the highest voter turnout on election day. And I wondered if it's a charge you gave to them to get to be a part of the process, or you just leave it to their own volition to go and participate.
Not really. We tabulate our numbers, though. We don't separate the police and the JDS and the election worker. Everything is put into one ballot box at the election. In other words, we don't pre-count the JCF vote and the JDF vote and the election day workers. Everything is lumped into one counting ballot box on election day.
Well, I thought I saw something from your office telling us the voter turnout among the police, among the military, and among election day workers. Hence my question. You're saying your office doesn't publish that distinction, that delineation?
No, we don't publish that distinction.
I see. All right, so from here on in, you say no. So is it that your returning officers or your other officials will meet with the candidates lining up, or you're done with that contact with the candidates until after February 26th?
The contact will continue because there are other activities we need to get from them to their indoor agents. There are some transfer requests for their indoor agents, etc. So the contact will continue. There might be matters or the issue that they want any clarification on, so the process continues.
Thank you, Sir Glaspole Brown.
He's tired, Director. You can see with him. You can see with him. Just before you go,
you need to get ready for the 26th.
He needs to get in shape. Just before you go, Director, just to restate, because I know you've said it a million times, the EOJ has, where the printing of ballots are concerned, is that something that you contract externally overseas? Do you do it at a local supplier here? Do you do it internally? Remind us of that.
The ballot papers are printed overseas, but internal printing of the ballot for the election day, in terms of putting the candidate name, etc., all of that work is done internally.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time. All the best.
Okay, thank you.
That's the Director of Elections, Glaspole Brown.
Next, we have the Blue Dot polls after the break.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Experience a luxurious adults-only getaway at Hideaway at Royalton Blue Waters. Reconnect with your loved ones and discover a world of all-inclusive indulgence surrounded by palm trees, a private islet, and endless sunsets. Save up to 40% off your next all-in luxury group vacation experience when you book 10 rooms or more from now until February 28, 2024. Simply dial 876-632-7401 and speak to your group sales agent today.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
New crunch sandwich from KFC. Great flavor, great price. It's for me. KFC signature, hot and spicy. Chicken with the lettuce, mayo, fries, and Pepsi. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC.
Hungry for deals? Get the new crunch sandwich combo from KFC. A small hot and spicy chicken sandwich with lettuce and mayo, plus fries and a Pepsi for just $600. Also available in barbecue. A finger-licking good deal. KFC.
Get connected to a deal you love this Valentine's with Flow. Sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the extra special price of only $3,999 plus GCT and get a free Samsung phone. Make a love connection and show how much you care. Visit discoverflow.co or Flow Store today. Conditions apply.
There's a whole barrage of righteous human out there.
Reggae Month takes to the stage at Island Village in Ocho Rios this Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. with young reggae ambassadors in Ocho Rios. Come see the next generation of reggae stars on stage with special guest Richie Spice.
No, we never gonna stop, no way.
Island Village, Ocho Rios, Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. Admission free.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools, they almost always have it.
Well, more than 80% of Jamaicans say they are concerned about the cost of living in the country. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. The poll sampled 1,878 registered voters across all 63 constituencies. Nora Gay Banton has our story.
Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate currently stands at 6.9%. It's coming from a high of nearly 12% in the period immediately following the COVID-19 pandemic. Inflation battered Jamaicans. Despite evidence that the Bank of Jamaica's strategy of raising interest rates to tame inflation is working, the cost of living is still front and center on the minds of Jamaicans. When the pollsters asked voters how concerned they were about the current cost of living in the country, 61% said they were extremely concerned, rating their level of concern at a 10. 8% of voters rate their level of concern at a 9, and 10% of voters rate their concern at a 4. That's a combined total of 83% of Jamaicans indicating they were concerned about the cost of living in Jamaica. This is down 4 percentage points from the 87% of Jamaicans who registered concern in February last year. 12% of respondents say they're neutral on the question. That's up from 8% last year. There's also been a 1 percentage point drop in the number of Jamaicans saying they have little or no concern about the cost of living, falling from 8% last year to 4% in the most recent poll. At the same time, 80% of voters say they're concerned about their personal financial situation in the country's current economic climate. That's down 5 percentage points from the 85% who expressed concern last year. When it comes to their standard of living, most Jamaicans say it's average at 43%. That number has fallen from the 49% who felt that way in February last year. If there's any good news in these numbers for the government, it's that there's been a 6 percentage point increase in the number of Jamaicans who believe their standard of living is high. That number moved from 33% last year to 39% in the current poll. Those who say their standard of living is low fell by 2 percentage points from 20% in February last year to 18%. The nationwide Blue Dot polls was conducted between January 19 and February 6. It would appear the party that can reassure Jamaicans about their financial future is the one most likely to find favor on February 26. Who will that be? Which party will be able to reassure them? Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Nora. The JLP General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang, has joined us. We reached out to the PNP leadership, the vice presidents. We tried Mikhail Phillips. We tried Donna Scott Motley. We tried Wavell Hines. None, we were told, were available as they were still out on the road wrapping up nomination day activities. We're so happy that we have Dr. Chang with us. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. And if my phone goes dead, let me give you that number, 322-3261.
All right.
Because
You're giving the whole Jamaica your number, Dr. Chang.
I know, but it's not my number, actually. So.
Oh, that's why you're giving it to her like that.
I was a telephone.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, let's get cracking then.
So go ahead, though.
Dr. Chang, from we released the first poll numbers and the situation in the 6 a.m. newscast about the wrong direction, right direction answer, where more Jamaicans say we are going in the wrong direction. Aligned with these findings about the cost of living crisis, I don't know the reaction that you've been getting, but certainly we here in our newsroom, we've been flooded with lamentations of Jeremiah from Labour Rights, feeling as if the sky is falling in. It looks as if you have a major repair job on your hands. Your supporters are feeling disillusioned.
No, I think any increase in cost of living, any increase in inflation will raise the concern of the inflation. But we're close on period in not so long for inflation running at 30-40%. And one of the members described that this was the...
Hold on, Dr. Chang. It looks as if the battery is going. Let's just call you back on the good number right away. Yeah, man, we have it. We have it. All right. So, as we get back, Dr. Chang, one of the YouTubers asked earlier if we're not getting the PNP ads to play. The answer is no. No, we don't get any. But we have to do our work, We have to balance. We have to make sure we give both major political parties equal space. Dr. Chang is back with us. You were explaining why Labour Rights shouldn't be despondent after those poll findings.
I'm going to say why they shouldn't be despondent.
Yes.
They can be confident that it is the Labour Party government is likely to manage inflation effectively and reduce it and maintain a level of stability. But there would be concerns once there's inflation and there's signals that we're going there, because it's not so far that we had the issue of hyperinflation under the previous government, PNP administration. So people it will be sensitive to it, But what we can, they can take confidence that we will manage, and we have to put in the policies. The independence central bank is a key part of this. And already, despite of the spike after the pandemic, people are seeing we are going down, in keeping with our policy measures to restore the low inflation numbers that we are looking at achieving.
Certainly, Dr. Chang, the economic message is the strongest message that the JLP have currently. And when we talk about inflation being high, it's interesting when we look at it comparatively. We're talking about 6.97% comparative to historic highs of 30s and 40%.
Right, that's correct.
So it's clear then that it's this message where the Jamaicans say they're not feeling it. How will the JLP address that?
So we will explain in simple terms and in simple language to the population the policy we are pursuing, which will not only reassure them that we'll bring inflation under control, because much of the factors that hit us post-COVID were not factors we could manage locally. The pressures came out of the several wars, and you had increased fuel costs, increased commodity costs, and about other factors. But we're still able to hold the economy together and are creating jobs. So that's the outside of the monetary policy, the greatest thing to empower the humble, the worker, is to provide them with a job. Now, of course, they'll still be concerned if the income is not providing them the quality of life they expect. But they certainly want to have a steady income, and that's the most critical part of stabilizing a person's quality of life and family life.
But you have 18 days of messaging before the election, Mr. CEO of the JLP, because that's in effect what your job is. What is the strategy now what is the message to your party workers? What is it that you will instruct them to impart as they walk on the campaign hustings between now and election day?
Well, yes, there are some other numbers in those quality of life survey are significant. You have seen 6% that their life is, have improved. The quality of life have improved, which is a significant number. It's beyond the margin of error. And going down, those who are still feeling beaten down, it's gone down by 2%. Still, somehow the trend is down. I think the population feels confident that we can run the economy better than the other side. And we just have to convey that message to our workers, to keep saying it, keep pointing out the increased jobs, the fact we have been able to hold the economy together in very stressful times. Because it's not long ago that the pandemic went. The quality of leadership displayed by the Prime Minister and his economic team was exceptional. And our workers can carry that message in their own humble way. And I know they're doing it. We are confident. I saw them today, and I got reports from across the island. Our workers are energized. They're very confident. They're very optimistic. And they're going to transfer that optimism to the wider population and get our voters out on election day.
But is
we'll
it
be taking a majority of seats?
Yeah, right. But is it that clearly the JLP workers must have been spreading this message before this point. But is it that you have to adjust what you ask them to do, or ask them to double down to do more of what they've been doing before? What is that strategy I'm asking?
Well, remember the issue of inflation is one showed 6%. I think so that their the quality of life was improved. A significant number, getting near 40%. That's a significant number. Now, concerns about inflation does not necessarily mean they're going to go against the government, It's their concern. And that is important in terms of understanding how the voters think. I have a lot of respect for the maturity of the Jamaican electorate at all levels. So they will express concern, but I was to ask them who they think could do a better job of managing it. I'm confident they'll say the Labour Party.
These poll findings, do they square with what you hear when you walk in your constituency and talk to people? Do they say, Dr. Chang, we love the party, but is it reflective of these poll findings?
The polls, that's not reflective in my constituency, but in terms of discussion with the general party population supporting, they are concerned in several areas in terms relating to the cost of living. We have discussed it. We have looked at ways we can bring relief. Several of the government policies that are being executed is how we do by not only in terms of the capital expenditure getting out there, what the Minister of Labour and Social could do. They are currently reviewing past programs to sure that those who are beneficiaries are those who are really in need. So we have looked at a number of things because we are sensitive to it. Inflation is something we are extremely sensitive to, and we have to pursue both the micro and the macro policy.
Lastly, the PNP, Dr. Chang, seems really energized. There's no hint of any division. They all seem to be pulling in one direction. Can your JLP beat this PNP on February 26th?
No, we'll beat them. Not can we do. We'll beat them. And I've seen the energy. I said, on a one-to-one basis, I'm out in the West. It may be a little different in other areas. The level of energy out here is nowhere near comparable to the Labour Party workforce. So you may say that's peculiar, but that's what we have out here. In terms of dissonance, there is division in there, and I've said publicly we'll exploit it. We know where they are in terms of serious division, not disgruntled councillors that are independent or candidates running independent. There's genuine philosophical and leadership division in the PNP, and even the current leader, sometimes described as a co-leadership between himself and the Senate, said the leader of the
Senator Bunting.
Yes.
So say Senator Bunting.
Senator Bunting says almost a triad of leadership that you work on the PNP. Those are opposed, and then there's the internal the opposite.
So there are weaknesses that you say you will exploit?
Well, all of those are weaknesses we'll exploit.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time. That's all the time we have, Dr. Chang. All the best.
Okay.
That's the JLP General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang. We did try to get the PNP officials from General Secretary to Party Vice Presidents. We were told they were not available because they were busy with post-nomination day activities. We break for the headlines at 6 with the Lady Shalois Michael.
cover story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6:01.
upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he's looking forward to the remainder of the election campaign now that the nomination of candidates is complete. The Prime Minister was speaking with the journalists in his West Central St. Andrew constituency on Thursday.
There are those who want to turn a local government election into a general election. It shows a kind of power hungriness. But it is our democracy. I love to be out and about and meeting the people outside of a campaign who are really constrained, tied down sometimes to your desks. But with a campaign on, it gives the perfect opportunity to explain to people, to bring points to people, to deal with grievances and grouses, and to dispel rumors and conspiracies that have been created for fault. So I look forward to the campaign.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness says it may take some time for Jamaicans to feel the impact of the country's growing economy. He was reacting to the nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools, which show that a significant number of Jamaicans believe the country is moving in the wrong direction.
Some of the poll results, and every businessman I meet, they say we don't have enough labor, we can't find labor. The unemployment rate is the lowest that's ever been in the history. We haven't changed how we measure unemployment. It's the same system of measurement. But yet, people are saying unemployment is high. So it will take some time. It's just lag time. It will take some time for people to realize that the economy is changing before their very eyes. Jamaica 2.0 is being revealed on a daily basis.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding says he's confident of victory come election day. After watching the nomination of the candidates in the two divisions of his South St. Andrew constituency, Mark Golding headed east to St. Thomas.
Today is a great day for the People's National Party because all over the island we have had a great nomination day. The show of support, the energy and enthusiasm are real, and I think that this is a great way to start what will be a short but intense campaign, and it starts right now here in St. Thomas. And as Comrade Philip has said, the victory is going to come from the east. And me know say, especially for those from West St. Thomas, a long, long time, you wait for a nice time. Right? We're not a nice time. Well, no, come for the nice time in West St. Thomas, and we're going to do it this year.
Mark Golding, leader of the opposition. Also on the tour with Mr. Golding was Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Polwell. Mr. Polwell promised his comrade leader that the East will ripen and turn orange after the local elections and the next general election.
Today is important. It is really the start of the campaign. And party leader, we have pledged that this victory will start in the East this time and go to the West. Starting in St. Thomas and go to the West.
Philip Polwell, MP for East Kingston and Port Royal. Meanwhile, no major traffic incident was reported during Thursday's nomination day activities. That's according to head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner Gary McKenzie.
The nomination of political representatives for the local government election that commenced earlier today. From all reports, there have not been any major incidents or any incidents at all with respect to those nominations. We have been monitoring the thoroughfares. Unfortunately, there are some persons who are still committing the offences of body protruding. The police have had to stop a number of vehicles and get persons to conform with the law. However, apart from that, things appear to be going smoothly.
ACP Gary McKenzie, head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. In other news, murder accused and former West St. Mary MP Julian Silvera will spend 62 more days behind bars before his attorneys can apply for bail. Silvera made his second appearance before the gun court in downtown Kingston on Thursday. The former PNP MP is charged with the murder of his wife, Melissa. He's also charged with using a firearm to commit a felony. Robian Williams was at court today.
Gun court matters are held in camera, which means the media is not allowed inside the courtroom. But reporters sat in close proximity to the entrance of the courtroom where a policeman stood guard. At 2:33 p.m., Silvera arrived in handcuffs with his head bowed. He was surrounded by police personnel. He wore a black jacket suit and black shoes. His hair was still unkempt, similar to his first court appearance on January 25. Silvera spent close to 40 minutes inside the courtroom. He's represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and Patrice Riley. Casey Champagny spoke briefly with our news team after the proceedings.
I think it's important for persons to recognize that based on the offenses for which Mr. Silvera is charged, they would fall within the band where there is an in-camera hearing, and we have to abide by that ruling. We have to comply with the law. So all that I can say at this point in time, Ms. Riley and I, all that we can say is that the matter is fixed for bail application on the 11th of April. On that date, the court will hear submissions from us as to why it is that Mr. Silvera is a good and fit candidate for bail, and I would imagine that the prosecution will make a contribution to that in terms of their own position.
Casey Champagny says the decision of opening the matter to the media rests solely with presiding Judge Justice Vinette Graham Allen.
Discretions are exercised, and the judge was well within her rights to determine how to treat this matter. As I said before, based on the offense, it's not just the offense of murder, but it's committing the offense by using, they're saying, an illegal firearm, in an illegal way rather. Going forward, it's really a matter for the judge. It's not a matter for us as to whether or not there is going to be a situation where the media is allowed in.
He says his client maintains his innocence.
The facts of the case are yet to be determined. I have firm instructions, and my client is indicating that he's innocent. All of that will be ventilated in court. There is obviously grave concern. He's anxious to be vindicated. He's anxious to have his day in court, and he is very, very much concerned, very apprehensive, as anyone would in that particular position.
Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Sports is next.
This Valentine's Day, show that special someone how much you care and choose from gorgeous flowers and gift item-wide selections, customized gifts and fruit baskets, flowers and balloon decorations, or bouquets and plants for houses and offices. They also cater for weddings, birthdays, Mother's Day, funerals, and much more. Located at Domes Unit 5085 Hagley Park Road. Telephone 876-920-3354. Gorgeous flowers, flowers and gifts for all occasions.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building high. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica. So vote for the JLP, yeah.
Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. They build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play on with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Faced with a first innings deficit of 182, the Jamaica Scorpions reached 76 for forward close on day 2 of their West Indies Championship game against the Windward Islands Volcanoes at Sabina Park. Captain Jermaine Blackwood is amongst the batsmen dismissed. Nkrumah Bonner is not out, 36. The Scorpions need another 106 runs to make the Volcanoes bat again. Earlier, the Volcanoes, who resumed on 157 for 2, went on to make 341 all out for a lead of 182. Johan Jeremiah, who was 66 overnight, eventually went on to make 80. Sonny Lambers weighed in with 45, but it was a 7th wicket stand between Ryan John, 57, and Shamar Springer, 71, which took the game further away from the Scorpions, who must now bat all day tomorrow if they are to entertain any hopes of winning the game. Gordon Bryan ended with 4 for 64, Pete Summon 3 for 78, and Marquino Minley 2 for 60. Over at Chedwin Park, Kevin Wickham, he slammed the second century of the new season as the Barbados Pride took control of their game against the combined campuses and colleges team. Wickham knocked out 8 fours and 9 sixes in a magical 139 as the Pride declared their first innings on 344 for 8. Jonathan Drakes also batted well. He got 89, Shane Darwich 41, and Zachary McCaskey 30 against 2-wicket performances from Jedi Blaze, Zishan Motora, and Romario Greaves. The CCT team reached 10 for 1 in response. At the close, there was no play on the scheduled second day in the 2 games in St. Kitts and Nevis because of rain. At Warner Park in the West Indies Academy, they were scheduled to resume on 60 for 2 in response to the Leeward Islands Hurricanes 130 all out, while at Connery, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force was scheduled to continue from their overnight 215 for 4 against the champions, the Guyana Harpy Eagles, with Jason Mohammed not out on 100. The West Indies and Australia are meeting tomorrow morning at 3 o'clock Jamaica time in the first of 3 one-day internationals, the game to be played at Hobart. Veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira says the series offers a great opportunity for the teams to prepare for upcoming global event.
Sami in the press conference was extremely confident that in this T20 squad, a fresh squad, he's got some world-class players with a lot of experience. My question is, we had an example of the team bonding and the preparation for the test team who did extremely well and surprised the world. What's the preparation of the T20 squad? And maybe the same thing can be asked about the ODI squad. Preparation brings bonding, brings team spirit, then brings cohesion, brings confidence, brings belief. I think we'll be able to judge whether any of that was relevant, that was evident when they play against Australia in the first T10.
T20, starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. Australia pulled off a thrilling 1-wicket win over Pakistan in Benoni this morning to book a spot in the ICC Under-19 World Cup final. Tom Straker, 6 for 24, wrecked Pakistan's top order. They were dismissed for 179 with 7 balls to spare. Azan Away and Arafat Minhas both got 52. In response, the Aussie top order was engaged in a few clumsy dismissals and allowed Pakistan back into the game. However, Harry Dixon, 50, and Oliver Peake held it together. They got home at 181 for 9 in the final over to set up a mouth-watering showdown against India in the final on Sunday. Jamaica's national senior women's football team will face South American big guns Chile in 2 international friendlies in Santiago later this month. The teams will meet in the first game on February 23. The second game will be 4 days later, and the Reggae Girls are due to arrive in Chile on February 21. The squad is made up largely of the players who participated in the failed attempt at qualifying for the Gold Cup tournament in the USA later this year. 22 players have been called up for the games, including Marlo Sweatman, Destiny Powell, Chanel Buckley, Malakay Days, Chenlilu Asher, and Jade Bailey. Xavier Gilbert will again take charge of the team along with his coaching staff from the last assignment.
We'll be looking at how we build from the last couple of camps with these players. And of course, some will necessarily get the exposure being on the international scene. And we just want to give a good account of ourselves and ensure that we represent Jamaica well.
Xavier Gilbert, national senior women's football team coach. Chile are 9 times qualifiers for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Their last appearance came in 2014, while Jamaica has played at 2 World Cups back-to-back, in fact, and they famously got to the round of 16 in the last tournament in Australia and New Zealand. President of Europe's football governing body UEFA, Alexander Seferin, has announced that he'll not be seeking re-election come 2027. The announcement comes after UEFA voted to change its rules, which would have allowed the 56-year-old Slovenian to run again and potentially stay at the helm of European football's governing body until 2031. Now, the English Football Association was the only one to oppose the rule amendment at a UEFA Congress in Paris. The FA said leaders should serve a maximum 3 terms of 4 years. Previous rules allowed a president to serve 3 terms in office, but the new ruling means Seferin's initial term, when he replaced Michel Platini in 2016, part way through a 4-year cycle, does not constitute a full term served. Now, Seferin took over when Platini stepped down in May of 2016 after being banned by FIFA over ethics breaches. Despite a 2/3 majority of 49 nations voting to pass the motion, he later announced he would not stand in 2027. Seferin says he decided 6 months ago that he would not be seeking re-election. The reason is that after some time, every organization, he says, needs fresh blood, but mainly because he was away from his family for 7 years. Now, hear this. He says he intentionally didn't want to disclose his thoughts before now because he wanted to see the real face of some people. And seeing them, what they call him in Jamaica, right? Now, World 5,000 meter silver medalist Mohamed Katir has been provisionally suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit, AIU, after missing 3 doping tests. The 25-year-old Spaniard is the world indoor 3,000 meters record holder and the European record holder over 5,000 meters. Athletes must log their whereabouts to assist unannounced out-of-competition tests, with 3 missed tests in a 12-month period resulting in a violation. Katir, who won World 1,500 meters bronze in 2022, will appeal against the sanction. In a statement, he said he has been subjected to a large number of out-of-competition doping tests, both urine and blood samples, over recent months without the slightest problems. Now, in response to the athlete's statement, the Spanish Athletics Federation reiterated its commitment to rigorous compliance with anti-doping frameworks and said it will remain attentive to the decisions adopted by the competent authorities. The Federation says it's necessary to emphasize that the integrity of the competition and the spirit of sportsmanship constitute the fundamental pillars of a clean and fair sport and must be defended above any sporting achievement. And finally, in sports at this time, yesterday was a bittersweet day for the Jamaican diving star Yona Knight Wisdom at the World Aquatics Championships in Doha, Qatar. The British-born Knight Wisdom finished 14th in the semi-finals of the 3-meter springboard dive and failed in the process to get into the final by a whisker. Knight Wisdom ended with a score of 368.95. That's 149.05 points behind the top semi-final performer, Sei Ji of China, the eventual silver medal winner. Now, he only missed out on the final by only 4 points due to a mistake on a dive, Wisdom. However, had he made it to the final, Wisdom would have secured an automatic quota spot at the Olympic Games. However, before the day was done, he was told that he'll still be at his 3rd straight Olympic Games because he was allocated 1 of the additional quota places still available. So looking forward to seeing Yona Knight Wisdom at the Olympic Games, and you can follow that major, the biggest, not just sporting event. I take it that's the biggest event in world affairs this year, the Olympic Games in Paris. You can follow it right here on Nationwide 90 FM. And in the coming weeks and months, you're going to hear loads more of what we're going to be doing here for the Olympic Games. But I can tell you, this is going to be the Olympic Center in this country. More and none. All right, that's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaican people, JLP say building time. Anything less, we not pay them no mind. Building for you and your community. We will build up Jamaica by supporting good policies, yeah. Build a better life for you and for me. We'll keep building Jamaica, so vote for the JLP, yeah. Jamaica is a blessed island, and JLP are on a ceaseless mission of development all over the nation. Them upgrading the markets and fire stations. Them build the most roadways for we drive on, more than any government before on the island. Them build parks in the communities with better facilities for the children play fun with you.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
There's a whole barrage of righteous youth out there.
Reggae Month takes to the stage at Island Village in Ocho this Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. with young reggae ambassadors in Ocho Rios. Come see the next generation of reggae stars on stage with special guest Richie Spice.
No, we never gonna stop, no way.
Island Village, Ocho Rios, Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. Admission free.
I'm Dennis Brooks. I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams, a special one to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for joining us. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. And I know that you'll have many comments. You've been commenting from morning. It's nomination day. Well, the nomination process has ended, but party members, party supporters still out in the field. So, let's hear what the Electoral Commission of Jamaica had to say about today. It says a total of 499 candidates were nominated today. to contest the local government elections scheduled for February 26. Now, this includes 496 candidates vying for seats in the 228 electoral divisions island-wide and 3 candidates for the seat of mayor in the municipality of Portmore. A total of 4 nominated candidates represent the United Independence Congress, that's the UIC. Now, the PNP's Leon Thomas, the JLP's Markland Edwards, and independent candidate Howard Hamilton have been nominated to contest the mayoral election. That's in Portmore. 36 candidates were nominated to contest the elections in 34 electoral divisions as independent candidates, indeed. So it was a full day. It started out early and it ended. It's ending. It has ended. Well, we've seen several videos, heard several audios, and I believe today was what one would say a successful one for both parties. But we want to know from you, in public opinion, which party won the optics battle today, nomination day. So let's get to the comments on our social media platform. I'll start with X. Griot says the labor rights all the way won the optics battle today. Graham Jervis says JLP. Y. Rush says me and my neighbor. Okay, and she put up an emoji, the peace emoji, which is, the symbol for the JLP. The hand gesture. Let me see if I can get in some more. C-Mac says, we are the government, going back to Parliament, Labour alone, I get my vote. Me and my neighbour voting for Labour. I suspect that C-Mac is saying the JLP won the optics battle today. Fabian Gale says, I am surprised at the Labour right turnout. They were out today. Okay. The Bridget says the JLP, of course. And Bonnie Williams says JLP supporters are at work. 90% of them have jobs. I don't know what kind of shade they had through over this, Bonnie Williams. Let's see. Paper Soldier says the Green People. Let me see if I can get in some more. Byron Willick says most of the crowd don't have a voter ID or a vote, just nuff and idle. And I sometimes wonder about that, That's the first thing that comes to mind whenever it is that we see the huge crowds gathering. You have a vote? How many? How much are them out there have a vote gathering? All right, let me see if I can get in some more on our Instagram platform. I'm seeing a lot of orange. Dwight Nelson putting up an orange flag. I'm seeing green team from Miss Fancy Face. Trisani says the JLP came out in their numbers to support the ruling party. I would give that edge to the Labourites after watching most of the nomination day activities. Let's see if I can get in someone. Desreen says the PNP. Prod says, I would say PNP after watching and not seeing, but watching video clips. All right. I am ESQ is also agreeing that the PNP won the optics battle on nomination day. Let me see if I can get in some more. PNP time now says, PNP won the optics battle. And El Bossy says the JLP. Cleon says the JLP on our Facebook platform. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. It's nomination day. It was nomination day. The nomination process has ended, but we want to know the optics. Who won the optics battle on nomination day? Who had the most crowd, the most people? Based on the videos you've seen, based on if your own personal experience, you being out in the field. Who won the optics battle on nomination day? Let me get this one out from Philip Jackson. He says, optics is right. Even in the color of day, we call it night. Party politics is Jamaica's biggest downfall. Real issue is not our concern. Rhetoric is what we go for. And he says that is sad. Okay. Fabian Smith says both parties won the optics battle. All right. A mixture. Balance. All right. Mary Joseph says JLP by far. Natalie Winter says the proof will be when all the votes are counted and the fat lady sings. Would you look at that? We will definitely know when February 26th come. Who will it be? The PNP or the JLP? It's all about politics, nomination day to day, and we're asking, who you think won the optics, the crowd. Lornette Powell says JLP have the win. Marlene P says JLP turn up today. Smith says St. Catherine PNP won it. Okay, I see. Doreen Johnson says PNP win the road today. JLP going to win the election on the 26th. Pauline Taylor says JLP won. Donna Wilson says the JLP. Let me get in some more. Amanda Street says St. James Central Straight Green, MP Clark and Councillor Lynch has my vote. All right, let me see if I can get in someone. Penview TV channel, I want to know why you're saying what you're saying. If you can tell me why you're saying what you're saying, then we can have, a discussion. Penview TV channel. Sandy says JLP all the way. Let me see if I can get in some more. Maureen Price says JLP. Bells, you too. Bells, you too. Tell me why. Tell me what you say. Sharon Bless says 10 green bottles standing on the wall. Let me see if I can get in some more. Optics is okay, but winning is better. That's according to Bells. Kevin Bailey says optics look better in green. Let me see if I can scroll and get some more. St. Catherine PNP won it. Let me see. Kevin Bailey says PNP will be fully archived on the 26th. Wow. Okay. Pauline Taylor says JLP won. All right. Based on the videos that I've seen. Let me see. Sharon Bless says ask PNP that. Let's see. Big Bossy has a lot of orange hearts saying PNP took the optics today. All right. Let me see if I can get in some more real quick. Lady K says JLP won the optics. Nah lie. All right. Well, a lot of comments coming in and, keep them coming up until the 26th. It's the election period and you can keep those comments coming in until the 26th when we go to the local polls. Thank you so much for participating. That's all the time we have for public opinion, but do stay tuned. We have the business report coming up right after.
Public opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Gambling is a form of entertainment and not a way to get rich. For information on responsible gambling, call Rise Life at 888-991-4146. The time by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission is
6:33. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Motorists will pay less for gas when they go to the pumps. That's effective today, Thursday. The state-owned oil refinery Petrojam says E1087 is to move down by $3.06 per litre. Also, too, the E1090 will go down by $3.06. Automotive diesel oil will move down by 2 cents per litre. Ultra-low sulfur diesel will decrease by 2 cents also, and the price of kerosene will go down by $1.75. Propane cooking gas will go up by $3.06. Butane will also be sold for $2.36 more. Let's see. At the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 57 cents to buy $1 and 197 Jamaican dollars, that should be 196 Jamaican dollars and 62 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 8 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's all the time we have. That's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Good evening.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Bet. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Love me, pamper me, spa with me at Adam and Eve Day Spa. Book your couple's getaway today. Give the gift of a spa certificate or products packaged with love. Enjoy Oasis of Love, Unite the Flame, or Love Me, Spoil Me packages. We're open on Valentine's Day for reservations only. So reserve now at adamandevespaja.com or call 876-754-6017. Indulge in love with Team Adam and Eve Spa. The couple that spa together stays together.
Kindness is a language that the blind can see. On Friday, February 9, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Dr. Terry Carell Reid and the Digicel Foundation have partnered to extend an act of kindness when they provide over 100 Braille machines to the Salvation Army School for the Blind. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Salvation Army School for the Blind. We will cover this act of stewardship and warm your hearts as we interact with persons on the ground. That's a live broadcast during Cliff Hughes Online on Friday, February 9 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Digicel Foundation.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world. Lord, me can go get ready for go vote here now. Me can't believe it's 7 years now since local government election no keep. I wonder if Maureen she ready. Maureen! Maureen, oi! Come on, man. We want to go catch you on a polling station before the line get long, you know.
We not tapping eyes. You come on me here before morning with the politics. Me not vote no local government election. It don't make no sense. And the council them can 7 or 11.
No, Maureen, don't do it. Local government election important. Are them responsible for repair the road them, you know? Clean the drain them and the gully them, Maureen. Take care of market where you go every Saturday. Are them responsible for provide the poor relief, Maureen? So whether you're PMP or JLP or any other P, your vote important.
But so what you say? They know that me vote for the MP for 2020. Me can't bother with the bag of election, you know.
No, Maureen. MP got Parliament go pass law for the country. And the council of them got the municipal corporation go represent with specific community. Yeah.
Let me go for my voters' ID, yeah? This a local government that can't miss me.
Local government elections provide an opportunity for citizens to determine who will represent them at the municipal level. These elections are important. It's everybody's business. Get involved, make a plan, choose the best path forward for your community. Vote in the upcoming local government elections.
Become Team Jamaica certified to shape the future of Jamaica's tourism sector. TPDCO's Team Jamaica, shaping ambassadors for life.
The time by TPDCO's Team Jamaica training program is
6:40.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. You're inside the nation's business. My name is George Davis.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
All right, we're going to turn to some political representatives now. The Member of Parliament for North Central Clarendon, the JLP's Robert Morgan, is standing by to join us. We're also going to be joined by the Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine, the PNP's Fitz Jackson, talking about nomination day activities in their constituencies. The divisions in their constituencies. Robert Morgan is first up. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, George.
Good. Where are you talking to us from, and tell us what's happening on the ground?
Well, I'm actually in a very long motorcade coming from Moko. I'm in the Beckford Crawl area. We have about 100 or so cars behind us.
Beckford Crawl. Who are the candidates you nominated today?
Herschel Brook, Uriah Mitchell, and Clement Alves.
Yeah. Is there an independent in Moko running?
No, there's a person who switched to the other side.
You can call Mr. Romain Morris's name, Mr. Morgan. We know you're better than that.
I'm promoting my candidate.
I hear you, sir. So talk to me about the feeling on the ground, the energy from the labor rights today.
Well, I was very surprised. I was actually very surprised when I saw the crowd today in Chapelton. I mean, I think we had a couple of hundred people from Moko come to Chapelton, and then we had a good crowd from Rock River and a good crowd from Chapelton as well. The pictures I posted them on social media, it was a very powerful signal to us that the people are ready and we're going to be very successful when the 26th of February comes.
And considering the crossover for the Moko division from Romain, has that troubled the candidacy down there in any way?
Not really. I mean, Moko is an area that has traditionally supported the Jamaica Labour Party. The support remains strong. Of course, you're going to have persons who are friends with the gentleman to go on his side, but our base is strong. We have not lost. I think we have lost probably one worker, but other than that, we're fine, and we're going to be successful.
And the mood from the constituents down there, do they stay strong in the JLP camp, or are you sensing, considering some more national and even local concerns, that they might feel a little fatigued with the JLP?
Well, we've done a lot of work in our constituency. You know, I mean, we've fixed more roads here on my tenure than ever before. We've opened more water facilities. Prime Minister was on Thursday in Moko opening a water facility for 700 people. Even in Moko, even in Rock River, we have a water project that we're going to build a treatment plant that's going to really improve the water situation. And then not just that, but we're assisting with education. For that September, we assisted over 1,000 students with tuition, book grants, and so on, courtesy of the government. So we have been doing the work, and we're very present. My 3 councillors are very present on the ground and are continuing to work with our people to make sure that they get the benefits that the government offers.
If there's a vulnerable division of the 3, Chapelton, Moko, and Rock River, where would that vulnerability lie, Mr. Morgan?
Well, traditionally it was Chapelton, but the candidate who is running in Chapelton won by 700 last time. In Moko, I won Moko by approximately 600 votes in the last general election. The PNP, over the last 2 elections, both the local and the general, has only been able to get 800 votes. And we have been able to get between 1,200 and 1,400. So, and the challenge we're having is that we are very confused because it was only last week we found out who the PNP candidate for Rock River was going to be. We have not really seen the Chapeltown candidate. And, well, Romain is doing his thing in Moko, but we will be fine.
Yeah. In terms of you say, you always make a point of the number of roads you've repaired, and that's your right, because that's what you're going to trade on, your achievements. But since it is that you're saying that people won't realistically come to you to complain about not seeing roads being repaired, how are you on the other important things, the other bread and butter things, the water, the tap water, the piped water in their house, the street lights? Yes.
Water is a big issue in our constituency. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. We know the supporters are jubilant. Crack on as best as you can.
So, water is the biggest issue in our constituency. For example, most of Moko has no water, which is why we're working with the NWC on the Moko water project to continually extend water into Moko. We get a lot of complaints in Chapeltown because we lost 2 of our 3 wells because of silting. That's why we're building a treatment plant in Chapeltown at low ground, which is going to serve Rock River and Chapeltown. There are places in Chapeltown that had water 40 years ago that doesn't have water now. And the Prime Minister has made a commitment. The project is ongoing. We have a 50,000-gallon tank that is installed. NWC is doing the work with the Water Resources Authority. So the biggest issue for my constituents is water, with road number second and employment third.
And what's the main outlet for employment across those 3 divisions?
Most of us are farmers. Most of us go to Mason to work. We have about 500 farm workers in our constituency. Well, not 500, about 400 who go across to the United States and other places. A lot of us are entrepreneurs. The issue we have really is youth unemployment, because the challenge we face is that it's very expensive for us to get the jobs where they are. And that's something that we've been working on. I've spoken to the Prime Minister about it. How can we situate more jobs on the South Coast so that persons who live in these desolate parts can travel and get those jobs and top up the unemployment that is here. So a majority of my constituents work, whether they're engaged in some form of employment, but I'm personally concerned about how to get more for young people in skills training and general employment.
Would it be fair to classify Chapeltown, Moko, and Rock River in North Central as what would be correct? Rural or deep rural?
Well, there are aspects of deep rural and there are aspects of rural.
So
we don't really have a metropolis here.
Yeah, but so
probably Summerfield, which doesn't sleep, but it's a very small town.
Yeah, so here's where I'm going with that. I know, Chevon, you're a Chapeltown man with strong Chapeltown roots. Yes, that the deeper rural you go, the more you have a problem with streetlights. I don't know what it is with deep rural and streetlights, but the deeper rural you go, no light not up on the road. Them. How do you plead, Mr. Morgan, across the 3 divisions in the constituency?
Well, thankfully, the government paid off the 700, well, several $1 billion of debt to JPS. So we have been getting some streetlights. A part of the problem, however, several of them have been stolen. But the councils are working with the parish council and the JPS to replace the stolen ones. Yes, you are correct. Because of the distance and the sparse communities, streetlights in some areas are absent. But I want to say thank you to the councillors who have been installing streetlights. I think they've installed a couple dozen streetlights since I've been a member of Parliament. These are the LED ones. They have gone into Danks, they have gone into Moko. Danks is in Rock River. And they have also done some in Chapeltown.
I find it amazing. It wasn't in your constituency, Mr. Morgan, but I was walking driving rather, in a part of Manchester. I won't say where, recently. And with a dark stretch of road, we buck up a man and walk with buckle torch. I nearly dead in a 2024. Yeah?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people in my community whose main transportation is a donkey. So, I mean, you see, I've always said to people, a lot of the things that we concern ourselves about in the metropolis.
Mm-hmm. Robert Morgan?
Looks like we've lost.
Yeah, the signal got overcome. I think it dropped.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you now. Yes, man, hearing you now. You're saying that people in the metro in Kingston take things for granted, yeah?
Yeah, so like if water goes away for 2 hours on Constance Road, it's almost as if it's World War III. But there are communities in my constituency where people have to bathe in the river. And so the needs of my constituency, a rural constituency, is quite different from the needs in many urban areas.
But you see the thing, Mr. Morgan, I'm saying, so for somebody, and you have many constituents who bathe in the river, get drinking water from the river, who don't have no street light to use when walking on the road, who lack so many things. What's the pitch to them to get their vote on February 26th? What do you promise?
Well, it has to be consistent. You have to tell them what you're
No, the signal gone just that day.
Bad, right?
Yeah, I said better know.
I'm in Bedford Square.
Better know.
Have a problem.
Better know.
I was saying to you that you have to speak about what you have done, and we've done a lot of work here. So work with them, not just tell them what to do for their
Robert, we're gonna have to cut it short, Robert Morgan. Unfortunately, the signal beating us. He's out in Beckford Crawl. It's deep rural, Siobhan. It's your place. You don't know Beckford Crawl?
I know Beckford Crawl, but
I
wouldn't call it deep
so
rural.
So it's rural. It's semi-deep rural.
I would call it rural. I would go for
it's rural, and the signal is giving us a fight.
But Mr. Morgan is spot on in terms of the issues. Water is, I'm sorry, living in Chapelton.
Yeah, tell us about the experience.
Water growing up was one of the biggest challenges. There were sometimes stretches of days where you did not have access to water coming from the pipe.
So where do you get it from? The river?
Yes, there's people asking in YouTube. Yes, they are too. You have to be in the river, yeah. Or you have to fetch the water, bring it in and use it.
And that's for cooking and everything?
Yes.
Wow. A man who doesn't have a constituency where some of the problems that are staples in most rural constituencies, Fitzjackson he's in Portmore in South St. Catherine. Different issues there. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Sir Fitz. How you do?
Oh, long time on.
Long time.
Siobhan tell you to keep away from me.
No, man. He knows we are friends. I tell him all the time. So
how are you? Wish you all the best.
Yeah, man, I'm good, and I wish you and your people all the best. Tell us about nomination day today. Your candidates out there in South St. Catherine.
Well, we have in South St. Catherine we have 4 candidates. We have Ochoy Gordon in the Greater Portmore East Division. We have Gary Nicholson in the Greater Portmore North Division, and we have Van Wyck Preddy in the Hellshire Division, and we have Anthony Winter in the Brayton Division. But the mayoral candidate for Portmore also nominates in South St. Catherine. So we had 5 nominations in St. Catherine today. It was wonderful. It was extremely wonderful. I was swept off my feet with the turnout of the comrades and more so the enthusiasm that they demonstrated. I really never expected it would have been that great. And it was so overflowing that it continued through the entire day. We motorcade throughout the constituency. We went into other neighboring areas in Portmore. We are completely satisfied with today in Portmore. And what was more significant for us, at least for me, was the enthusiasm. You know, normally in many rallies and motorcades, you'd have crowd come out and ray. But they are ready to go and vote. They have been starved of that opportunity, and they see a way out on the 26th. And today was the beginning of that march for the next few days.
One of the things, Fitzjackson, that people, especially those watching on social media, when they see your crowds, and when I say your crowds, I'm talking for both major political parties, people scoff and say, "Where a lot of those people in the crowd jumping up, they're not even registered to vote. You know these people, you know their antecedents. The people you saw are the people that you expect to march to the polling station and do the business on election day."
Indeed, you said it correctly. These are persons who are usually very active on election day. These are people who are usually active for the party, coming out with enthusiasm. And because they want their party to win, their candidates to win in their respective division, they know that the only way it can happen is if they go out to vote and take out others to vote. And one of the general practice we have in South St. Catherine and in Portmore in general, don't and around you in your community. I am, for what I see today, quite frankly, I am more confident than I was before about the results come February 26th.
Sir Jackson, you have an independent running in the mayoral race down there in Portmore. Are you concerned about that in terms of affecting the total Mr. Leon Thomas could possibly gain?
Oh, and that gentleman is my good friend for many years. He's a disgruntled laborite, and he decided to put his hat in the ring. And interestingly, the issue on which he's disgruntled is one that would cause him to want to support the People's National Party, because he's one of the vocal persons from the JLP who totally disagree with how the government is going about trying to make Portmore into a parish by not engaging the citizens, because he, during his period of activism in the Citizens Association and in the Joint Council, he knew the process that took place to bring about the Portmore municipality, where the people were deeply engaged in a very extensive way. And what he saw was happening, he publicly voiced it in the presence of his fellow laborites at the time. And his conscience couldn't allow him to stay with the Jamaica Labour Party. And, I gather that's why he is going as an independent.
Just for clarity, Fitz, I've wanted to ask you this question. I just wanted you to clarify it for the benefit of the listeners here on the radio and following us on the YouTube stream. Is it that from your perspective and the PNP's position that it's a no to Portmore as a parish, or it's a strong objection to the process being used by the Holness administration?
First and foremost, the process. First and foremost, the process. And in a personal way, I'll say this. I was around. I was MP since 94. The agitation for a municipality of Portmore started in the mid to late 1990s. And it came about because the persons believe that being a part of the St. Catherine, the Spanish-Town municipality, they were not getting sufficient focal attention on those local government issues. And given how contiguous the communities of Portmore are, and the issues are similar, they believe that their own municipality, because it's very different than the rest of St. Catherine.
Yes, it is.
So they wanted a municipality that could focus on the administration of those issues. They weren't even caught up in what title whether it was called city municipality or anything like that. It was a purpose-driven instrument that they want that could attend to their needs. And I oftentimes make the point, the Portmore municipality was not a creature of the People's National Party. The Portmore municipality is a creature of the people of Portmore, the leadership of the various communities and community organizations in Portmore. What the PNP did really was to facilitate, listen to them, and to really give them what they want.
Yes.
They prescribe, for example, that in creating a municipality, they did not want it to be like the rest of the country, where those from one party who get elected choose one of them their own. They want to directly elect their mayor.
Yes.
They want to be a part of the process and describe which are the areas that make up Portmore in terms of the boundaries. And if you were at that town hall meeting at the municipality in January last year, and to have seen and heard how vociferous they were, including the gentleman who was running as an independent candidate now, against what they were doing. So we're basically saying, George, if the people have thrown Portmore through a widespread and deep process of consultation, say they want to name it a parish, they want to name it a county, they want to name it a country, so be it. We would discuss it, of course. But I resent with a passion the effort of the government to slap the people of Portmore in their face and to deny them of what they fought for.
Then an extension to that question, Sir Jackson, do you believe that sentiment regarding Portmore as the 15th parish will play during the local polls?
I think it will play really because of the point I made a moment ago. of the blatant attempt at gerrymandering by the Prime Minister and the government to, by themselves, draw the boundaries for Portmore in a way that would give them what they want without any consultation with them, the people. That the resentment to that
Yes.
is dangerous. And they also recognize something too,
Yes.
that the government resorting to this 1867 Act that was used to divide up the country into estates for the landowners at the time is the same act that the government is relying upon now to use to divide up the parish of St. Catherine into political fiefdoms dominated by them.
Hear you on that. Hold the line for us, Fitzjacks. We're going to take a quick time signal and return.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
7 o'clock.
Speaking with the MP for South St. Catherine, Fitzjackson, 4 divisions in his constituency, Greater Portmore North, Hellshire, Brayton, and Greater Portmore East. All 4 candidates nominated for the PNP today. The JLP putting up 4. And, of course, there's a mayoral candidate for the PNP, 1 for the JLP, and an independent in the race, the man who Fitzjackson says is a disgruntled labourite. Let me ask you this, Fitzjackson. Let's talk about Hellshire, local issues once again. A lot of people don't know the character of that community. I had occasion to visit Hellshire a couple times in 2022, and I've been going to Hellshire for many years, and I was shocked it had grown so big. I drove so far I was almost in the sea going south of Fitzjackson, so you know how far I went. Yes, and the amount of land I saw cleared and the houses I saw coming up. If someone had told me, I would have told him, no, Hellshire doesn't go so far. So it's a huge community. Yes. Can you tell me off the top of your head, between 2003, when we had the first mayoral race in Portmore, and now, about what percentage the growth in the population of Hellshire has been?
You know, it's a very interesting question you ask. The statistical
Statin
as the Portmore estimate of just under 200,000
That's
in
wrong.
the 2011. Many of us in Portmore, you know, we don't have any scientific way, but we don't just believe that number really reflects the number that there is. And I say that as a backdrop to the question because the numbers have grown enormously, and Hellshire is in fact one of the areas that you have. You see what happened in the early days that you used to visit Hellshire. The population was mainly in the Johnson Hill area, Hellshire Heights, Hellshire Park, but the lands to the south were owned by persons over a long period of time. And in recent years, well, some have sold the lots, and then new people come in, buy the lots and build the houses. And some long-time lot owners have begun to build on those lots. It's a serene place. It's quiet. It's an area that I live also myself, and it's very attractive to people who like a serene lifestyle. And so it has grown enormously over the years. Then when you come down, by the way, Hellshire Division is not just Hellshire.
Yes.
It also includes a part of Greater Portmore.
Yes.
The most southern tip of the Greater Portmore housing development.
But here's the thing, Fitzjackson. Here's where I was going when I asked the population size, because for those who don't know, I wanted to give them a sense that Hellshire is a classic community whereby the economic activity in Hellshire, apart from the beach and the people work at the beach, people at the Hellshire Fishing Village, obviously, and a couple of hotels down there and a couple of restaurants. A friend of mine has a restaurant down there as well. There is not much in terms of economic generating activity in terms of employment. Most of who live in Hellshire go somewhere else to work. What do the people there need? What do they ask of their local representatives? The same things that the regular...
The roads, reliable water supply. Water supply is not that great, but we have some areas like on the Sandhill Vista area where we have irregular and inadequate supply of water, more frequently than what is desired. I, for one, for example, have taken the stance that no further houses or housing development, apart from those who own the lots, but no schemes and so forth should build up in Hellshire until when the water supply
So you admit the water is a challenge?
Yeah, the water is a challenge. Because we get our water from the St. Catherine Plain too. The same supply that would go service Greater Portmore and the rest of Portmore, and also Kingston share water with there. So yes, Hellshire, in terms of what they require on an ongoing basis, the main thing is roads and garbage collection. The level or reliability of garbage collection is very, very, very poor. During my early days as MP, I can tell you the main issues that residents, again, being primarily a residential area, was garbage collection and the repair of the interior roads. And that has been a challenge because the interior road network is very extensive. Very extensive.
Isn't it true also, Fitzjackson, that residents who've been there legitimately own their land and developed it, aren't they concerned about the growing capture land nature of some of the communities around them and a growing problem of squatting?
It's not a major problem in the Hellshire area. It's not an area problem in my constituency. You have one or two incidences, yes, but that is not a big ticket item or one of any magnitude. You hear of isolated cases that occurs of squatting and so forth.
Hear you on that.
It's not a big issue, but not to say it doesn't occur at all.
Yes. 706 Fitzjackson, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
My pleasure. And if you have a vote in Hellshire, please come and make it for the People's National Party.
All right, sir. I hear you. Thank you.
All the best.
Fitzjackson there, the Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine. We're going to open the lines and take your calls. Chevron, what are those numbers?
Numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Come talk with us.
We're not going to any break, Andrew. Chevron is going to tell us about his experience on the road with Mark Golding today, Chevron, while the calls come in. Talk to us, my friend.
Very well. To start off, I'm not used to the walking. I haven't done that much walking recently, but
that's what I'm saying. You thought you were going to sit in the office today. I say, no, Chevron is going to follow Mark Golding, keep some exercise.
So that Trenchtown walk was quite a thing.
It sounded hot, not true.
But I have to say though, I don't know, maybe it's because being in the crowd with the people and listening to the jubilation, you get through it because it's quite ecstatic. I hope all candidates get the support, but I hope Mr. Golding gets that support come election day because it looks as if the people are connecting with him, at least his supporters in the Trenchtown area and other areas he visited today, such as Yallos, Seaforth, Bull Bay. They seem to be connecting well with Mr. Golding.
Where you walked from in South St. Andrew today, did you start at the roundabout?
We started at the intersection with Spanish Town Road and Trench Road.
On the other side, okay.
And then we walked up to the Trenchtown Community Centre. A good 15-20 minute walk.
Yes. And it was all orange.
No, it was not all orange. There are a few little patches of green.
Pockets of green.
Yes, people coming out to support Prime Minister Holness, despite the overwhelming number of comrade supporters for Mark Golding, and it was quite interesting to see they got along quite well. I don't get any sense of any animosity or any form of unease with having the Labourites to one side and the comrades to one, and I was quite happy to see that.
When the opposition leader moved east, you moved with him. You went to Bull Bay. Tell me about that.
Bull Bay first, and we stopped there just at the top there, still in St. Andrew, where the highway would be taking you around, and we had a stop there waiting on Philip Paulwell and other members of the entourage which showed up later. There was a little impromptu prayer where I don't know her name, but she sat down with the comrade leader along with Mr. Paulwell and asked for God's guidance, telling the Lord to deliver them from the Egyptians as they crossed the Red Sea. And in this instance, the Egyptians, as you can understand,
the Labourites.
It's the Jamaica Labour Party. And then she called on said that once they've made it through the Red Sea, for the Red Sea to be closed on those chasing them down.
Hear you on that.
And then after that, we went to Yallos, then to Landui, and then from there, they went on to Seaforth. But at that point, around 3:30, I said, you know what, I have to come back. I have a program to do.
Yes, sir.
So I had to take my leave of Mr. Golding and his comrades.
Yes, as we go to the phone lines, I saw Jacqueline Thomas several of your friends in the YouTube chat, Chevron, are saying that they want to take it to the gym to get ready for election day.
Oh, no, I'm taking care of that starting tomorrow.
Jacqueline Thomas in the thing, while we were talking about the dark patches in the rural constituencies. Jacqueline Thomas say, yes, George, it's true. The place dark, especially around a tank corner. Jacqueline Thomas, what are you doing around a tank corner in the dark? Leave it right there. Al is on the line. Good evening, Al. Where's Al? I can't hear Al. All right, Richie's there. Good evening, Richie.
Good evening, Mas George.
Yes, sir.
Mas Siobhan, good evening, sir.
Evening, Richie. How are you doing?
That's so that the lady afraid of labor, brother.
What do you mean?
No. To one class of everything before they get her. Be say, never you don't say yes. But Siobhan.
Yes, Richie.
Like you used to live in down in Chapeltown?
No, down. Yes. Up in Chapeltown, Richie.
Up in Chapeltown.
Well, actually, he's right in the down because Sangster Heights, I don't know them call it Sangster Heights, but it's a bit of a valley.
Oh.
It's a bit of a valley.
And you used to go to the river?
Yes.
How do you compare the river water with water that you use in Kingston?
In terms of what? Cleanliness? I have to say, though, the river water down there kind of nice and cool, you know. Sometimes you even just go for the fun of it.
But I mean, even away from nice and cool, so it doesn't have any chlorine.
No, it don't have the chlorine at all.
And river water don't carry any form of germs as well.
I don't know about that one, you know, Richie, because
yes, man, I tell
you, because you have to remember some people use the river to
bathe
and all
How
sorts
can
of
river
things.
water not carry germs? If bacteria goes in, if germs goes in, what do you expect? Come on.
Ready?
Let me just say, I wouldn't drink river water. That is one thing, though.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to tell you before we get to my point very quickly. We didn't know when he's one time a birthday, a farm. And October fall rain and wash out the river cold. Pretty. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to everybody go drink water one day, you know. I said, when we put up my head, our dead frog inches, his died, you know, inches. And I must say, if frog dead, that every skin will come out find me wet like shark. Mr. Virgin, find that, we don't do what I know.
See it there? You stay there, yeah? Anyway, what's the point you're making on the politics now, Richie?
Anyway, the EOJ say today was free.
Incident free.
I was incident free. But I was listening to the news program. And he said, Waver Hines called in and said...
I actually got that call, Richie, and told Cliff to say it on air. So what Waverlines told me this morning, it was before the midday news. He said that they were in Western St. Mary. He said the road was blocked by Laborites and preventing them from accessing the nomination center in Western St. Mary to register their candidate, to nominate their candidate. So that's what he told me, and I passed it on to Cliff.
Oh, okay, because, I wasn't expecting Riverlife to be saying a lie, but I think it should make news as well.
No, well, we checked, and what he said, we called him back, and he said that after some time, the obstacles were removed, and they were able to proceed. But he said for a while, the Laborites blocked the roads, and he said, well, you can quote me that I am saying that, because I said to him that, well, I can't verify that the road is blocked. But if I put it in your words to say that you say so, then, you know. But I understand that it was cleared shortly after. But apart from that, we didn't, and the police themselves said no incident.
I am really concerned about selection in terms of violence, you know.
You are?
So many things. For example, Mr. Golden called Miss Phillips a traitor.
Yes.
Then you could see the incident out by Heath with the Laborites. Now again that this Miss Phillips is threatened. These things, people need to take them very seriously. And you know anything again? I listened Mr. Bunting interviewing that he was interviewing at other evening. And the man is talking as if he was there and the Laborites is wrong or whatever. Mm-hmm. People need to take these things seriously. And I'm really sorry we don't have a political ombudsman.
Richie,
because this one might be terrible.
Don't understand why you're sorry, because the political ombudsman was here for decades and didn't solve anything. So, you know.
Yeah, because I never have any teeth, but you need one with teeth.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear, my friend. We have to run. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Richie. Al is there. Al is here now. Hello, Al. Al is playing hide and seek with us. Faithful, good evening. Hello?
Sharon.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, good, yeah. There are 12 councillors in Portmore and 29 in St. Catherine proper. And in terms of to decide the mayorship, and
Add them faithful. So how the mayor works. So that's how Norman Scott got in, because the JLP won the majority of the 29 parish councils or municipal corporations in St. Catherine at the last local polls. But because the PNP won all but 2 of the divisions in Portmore, when you added what they won in St. Catherine proper to what they won in Portmore, that's how they got the mayor of St. Catherine.
I got it. But is it not a case that those councils in Portmore having their cake and eat at the same time?
Well, it's not breaking the rules. That's what the rule says. The rule says you add, because it's one parish. It's not eating cake and have it. I see what you're going at, but the St. Catherine is a municipal corporation and Portmore is a municipality. So there's a distinction based on how the law has it structured, and to do it that way is not breaking the law, and there's nothing irregular about it.
It's not wrong, but it doesn't look proper to me. With this case, with the ombudsman going into the CCs,
the ECJ.
ECJ. I don't. Right. I'm not too for it.
Why?
Right. I'm right. As it would give the appearance, knowing that CCJ is running okay. We don't know what might happen down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, they are not breaking any law by doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't like is the hypocrisy on the other side. Because if they agree with it, why they pull out at the last moment?
Which side are you talking? The PNP?
PNP. Why PNP pull out at the
What
last
Mark
moment?
Golding has said is that what Peter Bunting agreed to and endorsed was not what Mr. Chuck has put into the bill. That's what he's saying.
So you're going to tell me for almost 2 years, and almost 2 years we have consultation back and forth. You're telling me that it's far different from the agreement than what they were expected, and they give the announcement that the ombudsman going to ensue within the CCJ, and you tell me that they did not know.
ECJ.
As I understand it, the PNP believes that what would have happened was that you would still have somebody appointed as specifically the political ombudsman. They would be operating outside of the ECJ in terms of its administrative structure, but you would have a specific individual who is the political ombudsman. What they actually will have now is that the commissioners, 9 of them, correct?
Yes, sir.
Will operate collectively as the political ombudsman.
Let me say publicly that I see nothing wrong with it.
Publicly, right. My take on it is that the ombudsman, if Mr. Blair was there, they was not doing anything. It doesn't make any difference.
And I don't think there's even any disagreement from either side that the political ombudsman, as it was currently, is.
And I just want to fix that. I don't think the ombudsman wasn't doing anything, because to say that would suggest that the ombudsman had powers they didn't use. Hold on, I'm faithful. Hold on, man. It would suggest that the ombudsman had powers they didn't use. What is true, you said it earlier, the ombudsman didn't have powers, so therefore the office was ineffective.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
No, finally.
Yes.
I was listening to All Angle last night, and what always disturbed me, about 7 years ago, I think the Bar of Jamaica did the same thing. Mr. Mano was saying that the bill is going to send it tomorrow. And he's asking the person, the Labour and the Senate to vote their conscience, but to vote against the bill go into the electoral office. The problem I have with it is, I hate when a person asks the person to vote their conscience, but yes, they are telling them how to vote. To me, that is very insulting to me.
But at the end of the day, it's politics. You know, you're saying, look, you expect to vote the conscience, but your conscience should reflect this position.
No, but Mr. Manu and the rest of them on the panel, they were non-partisan. So I really find insulting to me. When they're going to tell me to vote my conscience, but yet they're going to tell me wait how to vote.
It's politics, faithful. All right.
I find that argument, and they must stop it, man.
I hear you, my friend. Thank you this evening. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more of your calls.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations. The supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever. Common symptoms of dengue include fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle pain, joint pain, skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. If you feel you have dengue fever, visit your doctor or health center, rest, drink lots of fluids, use only paracetamol for pain. Do not take aspirin or other painkillers. Protect yourself from dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. A message from the Ministry of Health.
There's a whole barrage of righteous youth and out there.
Reggae Month takes to the stage at Island Village in Ocho this Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. with young reggae ambassadors in Ocho Rios. Come see the next generation of reggae stars on stage with special guest Richie Spice.
No, we never gonna stop, no way.
Island Village, Ocho Rios, Saturday, February 10, 8 p.m. Admission free.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. My name is George Davis.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
So hear me now. You know, I saw a comment in the YouTube chat just now from a user who goes by the name Vander Palmer. I'm wondering if it's the same Vander Palmer who hosted a program here and, of course, who led the Public Works Department before it became NWA. And strong PNP man back in the day. He says something. He says, George, no candidate should be allowed to cross the floor. If you want to switch allegiance, resign and join the party of your choice. The people voted you to winning on a particular ticket. I think he wants to say that people who voted for you was on a particular, they voted for you but on a particular ticket. And, you know, Vander Palmer is reflecting an opinion that I've long held. I find it hard to stomach. You win on a PNP ticket. You follow to the comrades, you switch the floor and join the Labour Rights. I mean, I believe that. Because a lot of the people who voted for you because you were running for the party. So if you feel disgruntled, I think there should be a mechanism that allows you to remove yourself from the legislature and go and face a selection or an election for the right to remain as a legislator. Yeah? So there should be a by-election if you're going to resign. If you're going to walk out, there should be a by-election and we see whether or not the people are going to vote for somebody to represent them in that constituency from whichever party. I mean, I believe if it does cross the floor just like that. I don't believe in it.
You see, I understand where you're coming from, and I think what had happened is how our Westminster system is supposed to operate and how it actually operates in reality here in Jamaica. Remember, you're supposed to vote for your MP, not the party.
Yes.
And that is where the problem, that is where the creature is created.
But if we're to go by what you say, you're voting for your MP. My MP, Tom Strokes, that I went and crossed my X4 on election day. Tom Strokes is now saying that, well, the party's ticket that you elected me on, I'm abandoning that and aligning myself with a new one. I should have the right to determine if I want Tom Strokes' representation so badly that I will vote for him whichever slate he's attached to.
There should be a right for recall.
So I'm agreeing with you this evening, Vander Palmer, 100%. That is the position that I've long held. Do we go back to the phones right now? We're going to some videos. So we're going to show our YouTube friends. Hopefully, there's enough good audio because I saw a particular video of the Prime Minister and some overly excited young ladies saying some things that are in vogue or on vogue, George, that are on vogue in the dancehall right now, courtesy of one Jada Kingdom. and they were directing those sentiments at the Prime Minister. And Cliff Hughes nearly lost his hair. He didn't have much hair left, but he nearly lost his hair, and Ricardo Brooks is enjoying it. But we hope it's not audio like that. Let's go, Madam Producer. So we're looking at the Prime Minister. Where's this? Where's he here, Dana? He's in. Oh, he's in Central Kingston. This was okay. So the Prime Minister is in Central Kingston in the day, and the Labour rights are out there massed. Can I get the video of that interaction between Robert Morgan and Alfred Dawes in Portmore earlier today? Robert Miller, beg your pardon, Robert Miller and Alfred Dawes, because the word making the rounds on social media is that there was an altercation between the men. The cameraman had one job, but after they embraced and words were exchanged, appeared polite, something happened, but the camera person, man or woman, had the camera on the ground and it was shaking and we couldn't really see what was happening. We saw a policeman stepping in and we saw people holding back people. Not sure what happened, but it looked to be a situation where Miller went to greet Dawes. Dawes was like, but him greet him still. And after that, something happened. I don't know if some of the supporters got overly excited, but I want to show the viewers so that they could see. We're punching that up right now. And yeah, let's see what's happening rather. All right, so we're keying up that for you. We're also talking about the same issue. Let me see what some of the people in the YouTube chat are saying. They're saying, no, George, the party sometimes is the vehicle. If the rep is good, they will still be serving the constituency. Yeah, but a lot of people tell you that they didn't vote for the MP because the MP is glorious and good. They vote for the MP because the MP is representing their party. So the people should have a choice to make. Do you want to continue serving, being served by this gentleman or this lady? That's all I'm saying. And that's fair, I believe. But I don't believe just get up and cross floor and spite party. Yeah? And if you think back to when we had a one-seat difference in the House, 32-31, and every MP on the government side was holding a gun to the Prime Minister's head because you couldn't diss any MP because if I cross the floor, you lose the majority. You realize the thing is on a knife's edge. So I just don't believe in that.
No, but as I said, I think the solution to that is to give constituents the right to recall their MP, call a vote. If the MP still retains the confidence, call it a by-election if you want. If the MP still retains the confidence of the electorate in his constituency, then he remains.
It will have to be a by-election once it's outside of a general election cycle. We have the video. Let's see what happened in this altercation. We're going to mute the audio because some unsavory things were said. Let's go. Let's look at this. So here's a motorcade, a JLP motorcade for the listeners who can't see. Miller walks out of a Honda CRV. He walks purposefully forward, walks past a few cars, and the motorcade has come to a halt. He pushes through a cluster of PNP supporters. He beckons to someone, calls to someone. The person doesn't move. It's Alfred Dawes. Hand at his chin, shakes hands with Miller. Hand still at his chin, Dawes. Miller is trying to pull him forward. Dawes reluctantly comes forward. He pulls back from Miller, and the camera person look like them have a case of the shakes. Miller is out of shot. Dawes is out of shot. I see the back of a Range Rover. PNP supporters, JLP supporters. I see a policeman walking forward. I see JLP supporters going forward. PNP supporters there taking a keen interest. Miller looking around. I can't see Dawes. I can't make out Dr. Dawes here. And there's something happened though. Something happened, not sure what, but what started as a friendly greeting, instigated by the JLP representative Robert Miller, the Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine. It turned awkward and maybe turned a little bit spiky. And at the end, let me hear what Miller is saying at the end, because I think the viewers need to hear this. The listeners also need to hear it. Him saying that a familiar place. Listen.
It's a filmy place. It's a filmy place. And none of them can touch this. It's a filmy place. It's a filmy place. Load up.
Dana, can you get either of those gentlemen for us this evening? Can you try to get both of them? Would be best. Robert Miller and Dr. Alfred Dawes. I'm keen to hear what happened, Chevron, because I find it difficult to understand how a good gesture turned into something like that.
It seems like he was trying to bring him to a hug or just get him close by, and it looks like Dr. Dawes pulled away. And I don't know the context of the statement at the end there, but it's not a good look.
Because, at that level, you don't expect a man comes to give you a greeting. But we don't know what was said, what we have triggered Dr. Dawes. We don't want to speculate, but yeah. Yes, let's look at Mark Golding in Yalas in the meantime. Our producer is working to get both of those men from that incident, involved in that incident rather, in Southeast St. Catherine today. For those not seeing, Mark Golding is slowly making his way through a crowd of PNP supporters. Philip Powler, the MP for East Kingston and Port Royal, the leader of opposition business in the House, is with the opposition leader, drinking in the acclaim from comrades and closely flanked by his close protection officers. I see someone in the chat saying that we're looking to stir up confrontation by talking about this thing. What rubbish. We're just asking what happened. Yeah, we are news people, and we're telling those who don't know that this thing happened, that it happened, and rather than them be told by somebody that Miller and Dawes fought, or because that's the rumor that was spreading, we showed them what happened so they can assess for themselves, based on the strength of that video, whether they think there was anything serious. And we're trying to get to both gentlemen to hear from their perspective what happened. So that's what media does, and we're doing what media should do. Yeah. Another topic to talk about, Chevron, is Jolly and Silvera.
Yes. He'll spend a few more days.
Not a few more, sir. 62 more days. Robian said she counted it about 5 times to make sure she got it right. 62 more days behind bars before his lawyers can apply for bail.
And if that bail application gets rejected, he could spend the rest of his term in prison until...
It could be a long time before he emerges on the other side. We're making some progress. Who are we trying to get now? Okay, we can just talk to Dr. Dawes in the meanwhile. I don't necessarily need the two of them together here. So we're trying to get Dr. Dawes for you, and I think we have him on the phone. Somebody's saying, leave it alone, George. No, motivator. It's our job to discuss these things so that rumors aren't spread and misinformation doesn't run around. Dr. Alfred Dawes, we understand you're here. Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, man. First of all, how were the nomination day activities in your neck of the woods in St. Catherine?
Started off great, but ended on a disturbing note.
There's a video going around. We just showed it to our supporters on YouTube, and we saw Robert Miller come to you, pull you towards him, trying to embrace, and then we didn't see anything after that because the person filming had the camera all over the place. What happened?
No, it wasn't an embrace at all. We were parked by the lay-by, and they were coming around. But they wanted to continue with 2 lanes of traffic from the dual carriageway.
Where, Dr. Dawes? Tell us where.
This was in Waterford.
Yes.
But with the street that they were turning on is a 2-way. So they wanted to use 2 lanes. So some of my people were there. But the road was clear, and they eventually turned, without any interference. But he decided to come out and came up to me. Initially, I thought it was a friendly greeting because, we have had our differences, but we had, I think we had mended fences. But he aggressively dragged me towards him and was saying, "Get your people out of the way. We're coming through now. I am coming through now." So I was like, "Nah, we are in the lay-by. Just go because we're at the lay-by. I don't want any issues." I have seen an earlier video where he had an altercation with Councillor Alric Campbell and a taximan. So, we saw that there was a threatening air with that particular person and his supporters. So he dragged me back and I stumbled, and my security personnel intervened and kind of brought me away. He stood aside and he came back up towards me, shouting that this is his place and nobody can move him, and some other stuff I didn't hear, but I saw on the video. But I was kind of taken aback at the level of aggression. It's certainly not the type of politics I had expected. And I guess, we still have a long way to go with respect to the maturity of our political campaigning. But it's just something that I have to get used to.
What?
Unfortunately.
So those words, "this a me place," those words were directed at you, you're saying?
Yeah, and my supporters. There was also a supporter of mine who is willing to go on record that she was threatened by a member of his team to get boxed in her face.
What?
That is exactly what happened. The good thing is that the police are there and they passed on their way without any further incident. But I just didn't appreciate being dragged around, unexpectedly.
So you maintain, Dr. Dawes, that you and your team, you and your supporters weren't blocking the path?
Well, if you look at the video, you could see that there were some people in the road and they eventually moved. So it's just a matter of moving, but we were just there vibing. Some cars had passed already, and then some cars had stopped. But it's not like we had blocked up the whole process. There were cars moving along, but he decided that he was going to come and have everybody move so both lanes could go. But you really shouldn't be using both lanes when it's not a dual carriageway again. It's two ways.
Yes. So you're saying that if when he approached you, he had asked you to, begin some past me and move, go through, you would have had no problem asking your supporters in the road to just shift aside?
Well, that's what happened. We moved out of the way. The cars were moving, and then there was maybe a little period where the dancers got a little bit, you can't tell people.
Exuberant, yeah, man. It's the vibes, yes.
But it would have been a simple thing where we just go. But, I was leaning on my car, and I think what kind of unnerved everybody was the violent way he gripped me and dragged me.
Yes. Wow, I find this difficult because if what you're saying is so, then
you don't have to believe what I'm saying. The video is there.
No, you're on public radio. I don't expect you to be misrepresenting anything.
No, but the video is there.
Yes, but
you can see that most of the people were behind me, and there were some people walking out in the road, and you saw the interaction where he was the one dragging me.
So that supporter of yours who you say was threatened, have you counseled her to go to the police, or you're not taking it there?
She's used to politics.
Okay.
And this is not the first time she would have been threatened or anything like that.
All right. Well,
I don't think that Portmore belongs to anybody.
Yes.
Certainly, you can't. So this is my place or my place, and you can't get me out. It's a democracy.
Yes.
You get out people by the vote, and it's what exactly are you saying if you can't get me out if we're going into an election?
Yes. Well, Dr. Dawes, we're going to try to reach Mr. Miller to hear from him. Thank you for your time this evening. Just before you go, so that apart, nomination day in that division, in that place for you, how did it go?
The turnout was phenomenal. All of Portmore were out. When you compare our motorcade, the supporters, people running out of the houses, the excitement on the road with what the JLP had, where they were bussing in people, you know, even wearing other candidates' shirts and wrapped vehicles, you could realize that it was imported support that they had, but it was homegrown support, the level of which what everyone is saying is that we haven't seen since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
The comrades are rising up, and we're coming out.
Hear you on that.
It's energized.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Dawes. All the best.
All right.
That's Dr. Alfred Dawes, the PNP caretaker in Southeast St. Catherine. I gather that we have the MP for St. Catherine Southeast on the line, Robert Miller. Good evening, Big Rob.
Hi, good evening, George. Good evening, Cliff. Good evening to your listeners.
Chevron is here with me. So Dr. Alfred Dawes says you came out of your vehicle. He thought you were greeting him, but then you were dragging him out of the way, and he didn't appreciate being dragged around by another man. How do you plead?
Well, he has all right to believe that. The reality is that we were doing our tour after our nomination today, and the Prime Minister decided to come over. The Prime Minister was doing the tour with us as well. The Prime Minister wanted to meet with other persons, and as customary, what they do, even last night as well, they blocked the entrance to the bus terminal down Waterford because we wanted to just turn around and head out to a different location. And Dr. Dawes used his van to block the entrance, and they were gallivanting and doing their stuff in the road. No, we don't have any problem with what they want to do. It's a free country, but do not block the thoroughfare. So I came out of my vehicle, as you saw on the clip, and I went to Dr. Dawes. I told him good evening. I shook his hand and asked him if he could spare me a minute. You know, and he said yes, and he moved off. And then I said, Doc, you know, I expected better. And then he pulled his hand away, and as if I was drawing him, you know, and then he said, you know, leave me alone. And I left, and the police came and dispatched the blockage that was in the road.
Sir Miller, there's something you said at the end, though. I'm wondering if you would have phrased it differently had the situation been calmer, where you said, this is Fimi place. You can't move me from here. There's something you said there at the end that I think some people might take issue with. You said, this is Fimi place. You can't move me from here.
No, so a couple of the supporters, a couple of which I know from Kingston, you know, apparently they are working on his PR committee. And I know that for a fact from one of the members that I saw. And they say I must leave out a Waterford.
So you were responding to someone?
I was responding to someone. They say I must leave out a Waterford. And I said, no, I'm in my place. You can't move me from here.
So you're
not from here.
Those words weren't for Alfred Dawes?
No. It was I left Alfred Dawes a long time ago, right? Because I realized where it was going, and I'm not in any confrontation with anyone. You know, and basically, Dr. Dawes, sorry, let me apologize. Dr. Dawes was behaving in a manner as if he was, you know, a law among himself. He was there in the middle of the road. His vehicle was parked in the middle of the road. And, you know, I would have expected better from him, honestly. But, you know, you never can tell. And then someone came and said to me, someone who is not from the constituency, that I must come out of Waterford after them place.
Oh.
And I said, I feel my place.
Yes.
I'm the member of parliament.
Yes. So you and your entourage, you weren't breaking the rules of the road, because Dr. Dawes said you took up both sides of the road despite it not being, well, it was two-way traffic. So he says that you were doing that. And then he and his supporters were in the lay-by. A couple of supporters were dancing in the road, but a simple thing would have seen them move if the convoy continued. But you decided to stop and to use aggression to get them out of the way.
The reality, I don't think Dr. Dawes know the era well. You know, I've not seen Dr. Dawes in the constituency for quite some time. This is the third time I've ever seen him in the constituency since he was given a nod to challenge me for the seat. So he really doesn't know the thoroughfare. So in Waterford proper, You have one section that is going up the Waterford to the bus terminal, and you have the opposite side, which can be used as a two-way traffic, right? And there's a concrete barrier in the middle. So it's the same thoroughfare going down into Waterford, and then a different area going up out of Waterford. So that's not true. I think, I was there for a while. I was there for around 3-4 minutes, and I realized that these persons were not moving, and I was leading the convoy. So I was leading the convoy into the constituency that I represent, and I realized that they were not moving. So I went ahead and I went to Dr. Dawes, and I said, "How are you, sir?" Shook his hand. "Can you spare me a minute, please? I expected better from you."
Yes.
And he moved off to speak to me. And then somebody said to him, "Where you going, you idiot?" And him just pull away. You understand? And I realized where it was going, and I left that location. And while I was walking, someone said to me, "Waterford, a full place. Now come back down here. Where are you down here?" And I know the person. The person is not from the constituency. And I said, "Waterford, a full place."
Hear you on that.
I am the member of parliament.
So lastly, on this, Dr. Dawes says you and your entourage today, your entourage was made up largely of imported support.
Again, I will say again that Dr. Dawes don't know the citizens of Southeast St. Catherine. There's no need for me to import persons from outside. Every constituency, every division is dealing with their own nomination. There's no need for me to import anyone. Those persons that were there today, they came from the constituency that I represent. I have 5 divisions. Dr. Dawes needs to know that there are 5 divisions in Southeast St. Catherine. You will have persons from the various divisions that are in my entourage, right? The mayoral candidate was with me as well. And also the mayoral candidate, Markland Action Edwards, the next mayor for Portmore, had around 3 vehicles with him. That was the only imported person from out of the constituency. But everyone that was in my entourage, they are from the constituency that I represent. Just last night, when I had a tour with our campaign director and deputy leader, Desmond McKenzie, he brought a busload of persons from West Kingston. That was last night, but not today. Everyone that came out today were not imported.
Yes.
So they are citizens of Southeast St. Catherine.
So all right, that apart, across Waterford, Edgewater, Independence City, Westchester, and Bridgeport, the 5 divisions in St. Catherine South East.
All 5.
Yes. How talk to me about the nomination, the activities today. You nominated 5 candidates. How did everything go?
We nominated 5 candidates today. It went well, smoothly as usual. The supporters are vibrant. You have a lot of persons that basically flew down for the nomination, which shocked me, and they came and ensured that their candidates were nominated for this local government election. We're energized. The base is energized. The machinery is well oiled. And starting tomorrow, you will really see the campaigning from Southeast St. Catherine. We're ready.
What are you doing? Are you trailing 5-0? The PNP won all 5 last time?
I'm going for all 5 divisions.
How much you have now?
The mayoral candidate. 1 out of the 5.
Which one you have? Independence City?
Independence City.
Right. So
we're going for all 5 divisions,
yes,
and also the mayoral candidate.
I hear you on that. Robert Miller, thank you this evening. All the best.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's Robert Miller, the Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine. Richard is the caller. Good evening, Richard.
George, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me today why the media was not allowed in the court with Silvera?
Gun court matter. The Gun Court Act.
So why were you kicking up the last time?
No, let me explain. I'm happy you asked this question. When the matter was set for mention, set for the first court appearance, the media and the public knew that Mr. Silvera was charged with murder. We were told that the matter would be heard in the Home Circuit Court. We got ready to attend upon the Home Circuit Court, we the media. When we got there, we were told, of course, that we would be barred. That Madam Justice would not allow us in the courtroom. And we had to stay outside. The family was also told to get up from their seats and vacate those seats inside the court because they had to go outside. We wondered why. We raised a stink. It was later revealed on that day of his first court appearance. It was January 25, Siobhan? Yes. Good. It was later revealed that same day, Richie, that the DPP had added a second charge to the indictment of committing a felony with a weapon. Something, I think that's a charge, committing a felony with a weapon, which is a gun court charge. Now, because of the two charges on the indictment, Madam Justice proceeded with the matter inside the gun court. And that was why we were barred on January 25. But we were not told that that's why we were barred. And we were not told that this matter is now no longer a home circuit court matter, but a gun court matter. So that's what happened the first time. So today, with it now being public knowledge that the two charges on the indictment are murder and committing a felony with a weapon, and that one of them is a gun court matter, we were told that, all right, the proceedings will be taken up, will be heard inside the gun court. You will not be permitted inside. We will make space for you just outside the courtroom, and as soon as those parties relevant to the case are through, you may speak to whomever wishes to give you an interview. That's what happened today.
But Judge, a man of intelligence didn't thought that.
Just Christ, we never know. We couldn't know because as we tell you, remember, the first day of court, every journalist from every media house went there thinking it was a home circuit court matter because that's what we were told. And we would have known, and we would have taken our criticism on a different angle if we had known that Madam Justice was going to try the matter in the gun court. She'd never extended the courtesy of explaining why she was barring us. So up to when we reported the matter that the media was barred, we did not know that that was why she barred us. It was later when the judiciary issued a press release on the Sunday after, explaining what happened, that they said that it was because of the second count on the indictment that the matters were proceeded in the gun court, and that's why we weren't allowed as per the 1974 Gun Court Act.
Okay, accepted. But
Right.
my final point is I live in East Portland, as you're aware, because I let you know that before. But I don't know none of the candidates, you know. How can I go and vote for who I don't know?
I can't help you because it's a hell of a question you pose, you know. I don't know.
and one other thing, just quickly. You go into an area, you move into a new area, how are you going to know a JP? You can't go to the JP.
That's where your political representatives come in, because if you're in an area and you don't know a JP, you call your member of parliament office or your councillor's office and ask.
Don't insult my intelligence. You know what time I call my MP office and I can't get through to her?
Then Richie, we can't insult your intelligence and tell you if you call your MP.
But I've been doing that, John.
Then call your councillor.
I've been to the MP office and she even ignored to see me. Ignore me.
Look, every MP's office has an office manager. Didn't you tell the office manager where you want, man? And she will help you?
I did, George.
Yes.
That I'm a smart guy, you know.
Yeah, but I never seen a smart man. I never seen a smart.
And this guy, I called to see if I could get to speak to the candidate. And up to this day, I don't get to talk to him. So I don't know who going to represent me, what him look like. For both sides. I
guarantee you that in the 18 days until the election, you'll be seeing them campaigning and you're going to know who is who.
Well, I hope so.
I hope so too. All right?
Have a blessed one.
Yeah, man, you too. All right, good. Yeah. Siobhan, we are wrapping up now. We're in the dying embers of the program. So much has happened this week and so much more to come. The race is now officially underway.
Yes, all candidates are selected, and we are off to the races. Off to the races. Siobhan, you have to understand, listeners, Siobhan has low energy this evening because he expended all of his energy on the road today with the opposition leader. What time you joined the entourage at what time? We left out here at around, I think it was 9 o'clock.
Did I see you this morning before you left?
I don't think so. And we arrived there around 9:30. There before the opposition leader showed up. We were there with Ms. Louise Newland from the Admiraltown Division, along with Ms. Sarah Marshall from the Trenchtown Division, and then Mr. Golding showed up a while later, around 10 o'clock.
Yes. All right. Well, guess what? We're gonna leave it in short order. Before we go, just to tell you that Julian Silvera is set to return to court on or about April 11, when his attorneys will make that bail application. I hope that nationwide listeners, having followed the news, realize that the trial isn't underway yet. There are preliminary matters that are being sorted out. Yeah, we are some way away from that. The Beachy Stout murder matter, which I think comes up again in April. Closing arguments, that's where we're at now. That's one to watch. And local government elections, nomination is complete. I know those of us who live in the political echo chamber believe that everybody's as consumed in the politics as we are. Trust me, Jamaica doesn't care, and that's sad. But broader Jamaica doesn't give a flying fig about the local government elections, and that in itself is sad. We also want to tell you that the Blue Dot pollsters are working. We're going to have something else for you tomorrow morning in the news, and tomorrow afternoon in the news, and in the programming on Friday as well. And we want to tell you to continue to support Nationwide 90 FM. We are working behind the scenes to make the election coverage big for you. You know that nobody covers politics better than we do. Nobody. Yeah? And on the point of the advertisements, we don't get advertisements from certain places, but we have to give you the news balanced. We have to represent both sides. We're not locking anybody out. We give the third parties a voice. We give the independents a voice. We tried to get a few of them for you this afternoon. We weren't successful. We're going to try tomorrow. And we're trying to give you blanket coverage of the local government elections, showing favor to nobody, but we're representing all views and we're giving you the information. So if you see a video that you saw, then you see us showing it here, don't quarrel and say, "Lad, them I show the video for," because you see it already. Yeah, there are others who haven't seen it and who want to see and want to hear context attached. So just consume the news with an open mind and stop being curmudgeonly.
But before we wrap up, George, so what's the Blue Dot question for tomorrow morning?
I will tell you that tomorrow morning, excellent point, my friend. I'm going to go for it and find it. I'm going to tell the listeners the issues that we're dealing with tomorrow. I've just confirmed from our data scientist that when I leave this chair, I should go in my office and retrieve the question. I'm going to tell you right now that the question for tomorrow, the issues for tomorrow, yes, I have it here. Right, I just found it. Thank you, Dana. So tomorrow we're dealing with crime and perceptions of personal safety. And we're dealing with a question concerning the police commissioner tomorrow in the polls. I can't wait to go and look at the findings and plot how we're going to present it to you in the news tomorrow with the team. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with tomorrow. At 7:57, Siobhan, I think it's dutiful. I think it's time, rather, that you be dutiful and send us home.
Yes, so hear that, listeners. Stay tuned for tomorrow morning. And I thank Dana Davey, our super producer, our technical operator, Andrew Glenn Anderson, my friends in the newsroom and production department who stuck with me this morning into the evening. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And I am George Davis. I see Sharon Bliss in the chat says, "George, the poll is the 26th. Truer words have never been spoken."
The ultimate poll.
Ultimate poll. Thank you very much to all the YouTubers. I have to say good evening to Sharon Bliss, Dias Isaacs, Loxley Reed, Grogu. Hi, Rashima. Hello, Rashima. Daniel Richards, Kingsley Graham, Barbara Bailey, Jacqueline Thomas. You stay the boy, you're on a tank in the dark. Juliet Sanchez, Strong Link, Hermin Hyatt. Hermin is still awake. Marigold Weber. Marigold is still up. Marlene P. Colin James, Lorraine Young, Gertrude Brown, Angela Jones, Cheerful Birds, Roxanne Wellington. All of you, Kirk Buchanan, everybody. Leroy Rotti, my brethren. Good evening.